Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show live. Yes, we're live, international. It's good to see all your smiley faces from wherever you're watching. We have an international audience. So if you're watching here where we broadcast from the United States, we welcome you. If you're just to the north in Canada, we welcome you. Just to the south in Mexico, or even our audience watching in South America, we have viewers that watch in Brazil and Peru and Argentina. Viewers that watch from beautiful Bermuda, not too shabby. Iceland, yes, from all around the world. Hawaii, of course, which of course is part of the US. From Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, wherever you're watching live, or if you're watching this later on, we welcome you. This is our entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation. We don't call this a podcast. We don't call it just interviews. We call this a traditional, like a television series, entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series. It's warm, it's conversational, it's entertaining, poignant moments. Anything can happen because we are live. Viewers can interact with us live during the show as well. As a matter of fact, if you would like to do that, we invite you to do that. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you just hit that button, just that beautiful red button. That's the color of love, as in JMS Lovity, which we're known for here on the show. Click the red button and tell your friends, get on top of Mount Everest and tell everybody, click that red button because it helps us grow our series. It welcomes more people from around the world, and we welcome you. There's no cost when you click that subscribe button, no cost at all. And you're also then part of the JMS Lovity Squad, the Lovity family here on the Jim Masters Show Live, which is really, really cool. We love that. So subscribe. That helps us out. And of course, as we always say, if you love this episode and any of the episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Variety Talk Show series, give it a thumbs up on the YouTube channel. There's a little cool little icon. It looks like a thumb. Click the up thumb. Up Jim Masters Show, right? So click the thumbs up sign there on our YouTube channel. It's on every episode. And leave a comment for us as well. We would love that. Thanks to all of you who have been doing it. Many of you have been very active, leaving comments on our YouTube channel, positive comments about how much the series means to you, everything that you're loving about what we're doing here, which is unique. We have created a beautiful community. Guests come in from all around the world, from all different backgrounds, music and television and Hollywood, Broadway, stage, culinary arts, sports, comedy, theater, everything, really. That's why we call it variety. We don't do the same thing every single day. We are very excited to welcome all of you. If, again, you would like to comment in our exclusive JMS Live chat room, we actually have a chat room. And it's live right now. And our viewers, our lovities, they are commenting. They're saying hello to each other. They do it all the time. They're saying hello to me, hello to our guest. And we love that. We're going to show some of those as well. We sort of sprinkle some of them in when we can. If you enjoy this episode and you want to help support what we're doing here on the Jim Masters Show Live, you can do a super chat, super emoji, super stickers. That's available during the chat in live chat, or you can do it on the actual episode. There's a little heart icon called thanks. Yeah, it's really cool. And you can certainly do that as well. So we've got a great show. We have coming to us live and direct from the United Kingdom. We have Nick Endacott-Gibb joining us. Now, Deborah is in Australia, a little bit under the weather, so we're going to have her back at a later date. But Nick is here. He is one half of Cousins Gibb, so it's Cousin Gibb. And we're going to have a fabulous time because his story is unbelievably inspiring. Let me tell you just a little bit about both Nick and Deborah. Cousins Gibb are Nick Endacott-Gibb and Debora McLane from the famous Gibb family and the hit recording group, the Bee Gees. Nick is the newest member of the Gibb family. He was adopted at an early age, but in 2019, following a 10-year search to find his biological parents, Nick traced his birth mother and discovered that BG Maurice Gibb was indeed his father. Music has always been Nick's passion over the years, and he has written his own songs and produced and recorded other artists as well. Nick is also a proficient sound engineer, working at many of the UK's top festivals and events. And as a musician, he has performed with and supported many top UK artists, including Dodgy and Chris Dilford, with his band The Speak. The other member, of course, of Cousins Gibb, and they are actually cousins, is Debora McLane. Now, blessed with an expressive and versatile voice, she has spent many years performing at tribute shows as Tina Turner, Celine Dion, Barbra Streisand, Carole King, Karen Carpenter, and many more. And after Nick connected with his cousin Debora, they formed Cousins Gibb, a musical collaboration of original material. And they decided to work on the title Tragedy. Yes, of course, you know the Bee Gees made that famous, putting a very different spin on the original. The version, of course, is almost unrecognizable from the upbeat original on the Bee Gees' 15th album, Spirits Have Flown, as the arrangement has heartfelt vocals, harmonies, and lyrics that give it a unique and sympathetic twist. They're working on, of course, the full-length album of original material scheduled for release later in the year. Cousins Gibb have a wonderful understanding of the Bee Gees song Tragedy, and their voices blend to create this beautiful fusion of magical harmonies. And, of course, celebrating Robin and Maurice and Barry. And, of course, Andy, who is, of course, was a Gibb, but not necessarily part of the Bee Gees, but still an incredible performer himself. Very excited to, again, tell you more. Cousins Gibb is the name of the group. It's really, really exciting to have Nick with us here on the show. He's got an amazing story. I encourage you to put your hands together and join me in welcoming Nick Endacott-Gibb to the Jim Masters Show Live. He's all set in one of his favorite places on the planet, his studio. Nick, welcome to the show. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here, my friend.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Jim. Really happy to be here. How are you?
Fantastic. It's really cool. And I know it's a little bit later for you. It's 2 Eastern here, and it's just after 7 p.m. your time, right?
Yeah. It's getting into the evening. I'm getting a bit hungry, but I'm all right.
Oh, you didn't eat yet, huh?
I haven't eaten yet. No. I'll have something a bit later.
So what's on the docket? Everybody, there's a lot of foodies here. So what would you probably be having for dinner, you think?
It might be a curry, or it might be something a little bit more English and hearty, like a casserole. I don't know yet.
Ooh,
I'll be
nice.
going over to my lovely partner's place after this and see what she's rustled up.
I love that. So we and I were just chatting. Originally, Debora was going to be with us here on the show, but a little bit sort of not in the right sort, right? She's a little under the weather, I guess.
Yeah. She's a bit poorly, unfortunately. Poor thing. It's a bit unexpected. So unfortunately, she can't be with us. But hopefully, I can answer any questions for her. And
yes.
She sends her love. She sends her lovity.
There she is. She's here in spirit.
Yeah.
She's here with us in spirit. And we'll talk about, the family connection and everything with her. But first with you, Nick, obviously it really is an exciting and amazing and inspiring story. When you were a kid, early on, before anything as far as searching for biological family and things of that nature, were you always a kid that was very interested in music? Were you always somebody who was, had a real thirst for playing instruments, for wanting to sing?
Yeah.
Where do you think that initially came from? Was there always music in the house flowing?
That's the thing, you see, it was always something I had a passion for and a really strong, love of, and, very creative right from an early age. I started singing when I was 6 years old and joined the local choir, because I loved singing with other people. But it wasn't really I had a couple of sisters and a brother, and, you know, they, of course, they had their music on, they had played their records, and you know, I got passed down a lot of records, you know, Elvis, Buddy Holly, the Beatles, and all of that sort of thing, and which started off my love of 60s music, which I've you know, I've always had. But yeah, it would. My brother, he did pick up the violin at one point, and it was not that appealing to listen to.
It's a little
Very politely,
scratchy, broke a
yeah.
couple of windows, or yeah.
Yeah,
I
it was a
took it
bit.
early as a kid. It's not an easy one to master, is it?
It's a
Ooh,
hard one, yeah. You know,
yeah,
and he did try it for a bit, but yeah, it didn't. Thank goodness he didn't continue.
yeah.
But no, no one else really played anything. The younger of the two sisters, she used to sort of play a bit of piano here and there, and because my auntie had a piano, and whenever we were over there, she'd sort of sit at it and play around, and just like I did, really, you know. But she was more into dancing, and she became a dancer and that. But as for musical creativity and that sort of thing, it was you know, no one else was really following that. It's just something I had all the time, and you know, was a part of me, you know, right from an early
Yeah.
age.
Yeah, from an early
You know,
age. So, what was the kind of stuff that you were listening to when you were a kid? Was there certain, I mean, were you listening to the Beatles? Were you listening to the Bee Gees? I mean, there's so much music around. What were you listening to?
well, I got passed down a lot of Beatles records and Kinks, you know, singles and
Yeah.
you know, things like that from my eldest sister, and I was playing those. You know, I had a big bag of them, so I was playing them over and over, and you know, that and cassettes, you know, back in the day, of Elvis and you know, rock and roll. I loved rock and roll, really. I was first really into rock and roll. I loved it,
Yeah. Yeah.
which led then into 60s and Beatles and things like that. But I think I just loved music and songs from it. If I liked it, I liked it. It could have been, you know, it could be any style, could be anyone. I wasn't really ever a Bee Gees fan. I liked some of their songs, you know, just like I like other artists. But I did particularly like, you know, artists like Everly Brothers and
Yeah.
the harmonies, you know, the artists and bands that were harmed, and especially like the families that you know, the people who were related to each other, you know, harmonizing with each other. I always thought was really special, and you know, had something special that was different, you know. And I was a bit envious of that, actually. I remember thinking when I was younger, you know, what it must be like to harmonize with a brother or
Mm,
a sister, and you know, sing together with someone you're related to. It was always, you know, I wondered what it would be like to do that,
yeah.
because it always sounded so good when people who are related to each other, you know, sung together.
Yeah.
Um, so anything that really sounded good to me, especially with harmonies, I was drawn to, you know, right from an early age.
Absolutely. So, did you form a band? What did you do to sort of really express and be able to share the talent and this passion that you started to really develop early on for music, Nick?
I I I I I started many bands, many bands, and each one
Couple in the
I was
garage
hoping to.
too.
Yeah, it's. I started quite with that quite early as well, because I was writing when I was about 11 years old. I started writing songs. You know, I was always
11.
interested in creating something than copying something. You know,
Right.
so I was quite early on. I was writing and wanting to play with other people. So my first band was around 13. You know, because
What
I
was the
picked up.
name?
Sorry.
What was the name of the band?
Oh, my first band was called No Exit. it, it's that's because simply we played in this hall, which was like a function room of this pub at the back, and we were supporting. It was our first gig, and we were supporting another band, and we went on for about 20 minutes, I think. And about halfway through, I thought we still haven't got a name yet, you know. And so it wasn't until, you know, at the end I said, "Oh, yeah, thanks everybody." And I just looked at the back and there was a no exit sign by the door. I said, "We called no exit. Thanks a lot. Come and see us again."
Yeah.
You know, I thought that'll do for now. You know, but you know, I don't know. When you're that sort of age, you don't think about things like that. You just,
No.
you know, just happy to be. God, you know, we're going to go and play somewhere. You know, there's excitement of that. You know, didn't think about
Yeah.
having it, you know, a band name. But yeah, it started off with, you know, playing with friends like you do, you know, from school and that kind of thing, and it's something that I always wanted to do and always had a really burning passion for. So it was more of a case of it's part of what I want to do, and rather than, oh, you know, it'd be great to get a band together, maybe I should do that. It was just natural. It was just, you know, one project to another, whatever, as I grew, you know, as I grew up and evolved, and you know, was singing more and playing more, and you know, it's something that was just really felt natural to me.
Yeah, which is fantastic and sort of uncanny considering,
Yeah.
down the line, some of the storyline and the way it takes us. So when was it when you were starting to question things, when you said, gee, I wonder, who, f- well, tell us about the scenario as far as the parents that you were with, a loving family that you were with.
Mm.
Was there ever any mention of who the biological were, or was that something that you said, I just, something's burning and yearning in me. I really want to find out who, because maybe there's a way, if they're still alive, because you wouldn't know
Mm.
necessarily when you start doing it, to connect with them and just to see my roots and where I come from. Not that, there would be
Yeah.
any response. You never know. It's
Yeah.
a
I mean,
risk.
the thing is, I was always, I've always known I was adopted. I was always told. I don't even remember being told I was that young, you know. And they were so supportive with everything.
Great.
Always saying, look, when you get older, if you need to know or want to know, have questions, and you want to know the answer, where you're from, we'll help you. We'll always be behind that and help you with that. So there was never any. There was always support, you know, with that, and my music as well, you know. So there was always support there. It was a good, loving family, you know. But I think really, it was always on my mind because I because of the music being so strong and just being different from the rest of my family. You know, there's always those questions of, you know, why do I look the way I do? Why do I act the way I do? You know, you do take on some mannerisms of your family, of your adopted family, yeah, of course, you know, but there was a lot that wasn't from, you know, the
Mm,
music, plus a lot of about me that wasn't, you know, like them at all. So there was always these questions, but it's sort of, as you're young, you know, you think about it, but that's as far as it goes. But when I got older, it was something that I really wanted to look into. But it wasn't very easy, you know. It was
mm,
lots of forms, lots of writing to
yeah.
various agencies, and you know, all of that to try and get information. And I didn't really have a lot. I had a file. Mum, Dad showed me this file once that just said, look, this is, when I was asking about it, you know, said, look, this is all we've got, and it had her name and it had her occupation, which was just down as secretary. You know,
Right. Right.
she was a bit more than that. She was definitely not a secretary, but it was, I suppose, you know, something easy to put down on the file at the time. And of course, she was only about 19 anyway when she had me. So, but there was no father's name or anything like that. Just really her name and where the rough area she was from, and where I was born. You know, what hospital I was born in. So not a lot of information really. So I couldn't really do much with that. It had to be, you know, writing to, I think it was Australia House in London, and you get forms sent back, and you've got to then wait another 8 weeks, another 12 weeks. And as I was looking into it, I thought, this is something maybe I'll do a bit later on. You know, I think I think I was just about 20, maybe a little bit older than that, where I started looking into it for, you know, the first time. But I thought, you know, I went to the Samaritans, you know, all these places, and it wasn't that easy. So I sort of left it for a while. And it wasn't until I was in my early 30s, really, that internet was around. We, you know, everything was a lot easier with internet. So I decided to leave a message on this website on the internet, And a couple of years later, I got a message from my birth mother saying, "Am I who I say I am?" And she told me who she was, and yeah, it was really quite a shock. I didn't expect to get anything back, but it was just one of those things I did, and I forgot about it. And then I got an email, which was incredible.
Wow. What was that like to get, that response? I mean, because sometimes people, we had a guest on, an author, I say maybe about a month ago here in the United States, and she went through a 50-year search for her birth
Mm,
mother.
mm,
And then when she finally met her birth mother, she wrote a book about it. It's kind of cool. She finally met her birth mother. Her mother at that point had a whole other life, a whole other family. She was much older,
mm,
and she wasn't responsive to her at all.
mm.
She didn't even want to see her. The I guess step sisters and brothers that were sort of evident, they were very welcoming, and they tried
Mm,
to convince their mother to, meet her and to
yeah,
bring her in. And she still, I think it was like not until it was a dying moment type thing where she got a chance to sort of have
mm,
some sort of a understanding or
yeah,
like a reconciliation. So sometimes you're not blessed in the way that you were to get a
no,
response and some positivity there. That must have made you feel pretty
yeah.
good.
Well, it's a difficult thing. A lot of adoptees do. You hear, a lot of horror stories. Um, I don't think it's that common, to be honest, that an adoptee finds their birth parents or one of their birth parents, and it's happy ending, and they're in their lives, and everything is lovely. You don't hear that a lot. Um, I think I was lucky that she did respond and did want to know, but it was very difficult at the time because I thought when that happened, or if that happened in my life, it would be more of a slowly getting to know, talking on the phone for a bit, for a few months, that sort of thing. But she was about to move out of the country, literally within
Mm,
about a week or so. So I had to make a quick decision and really think, well, do I want to meet her in another country for the first time, or do I want to meet her while she's still here?
yeah.
And I made the decision to meet her here, before she went. So it was all a bit rushed, but it was a really strange feeling. It was a very, very strange feeling to meet her, and to think this is my real mother. But we had a 5-hour meeting and talked
You
about
did.
lots of things, and um, drunk a few glasses of wine, which was very needed.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
uh, to relax you a little bit. Um,
Yes.
and then she told me at the time who my father was, and it was someone else. It was a guy who was in. She worked in the industry, in the music industry. She worked initially for a publishing company, and then went on to work with Sir George Martin with setting up Air Studios, and worked as a studio manager, really, with the Beatles, and she knew Jimi Hendrix, so she knew everybody. She was working right in the thick of it all, which is quite an achievement at
Mm,
her age. So she told me that my father was a musician, and she gave me his name, but I couldn't Google him because he was, had the same name as someone famous, so I couldn't, find him. He had a bit of success in the '60s, but not really, not majorly. Um, so I couldn't really do anything about that until a couple of years later. She then showed me an album cover that she found because she was moving some boxes, moving some stuff. She found some old stuff, and she said, "Look, I found this." I was visiting her in Spain. She'd moved to Spain, and she said, "Look, I found this album cover. This is the band he was in, and that sort of thing." So I thought, great, I can now search for him. I know what I've got something to go by. And it took another couple of years or so to find him, and then to connect with him, and I did, and he was great, and we got to know each other for another couple of years, until we did a DNA test, and we decided, oh, let's just do this. It's probably okay, but to be safe, let's. And yeah, it came back negative. So that
mhm.
was a bit of a shock because I've been getting to know this guy. I'd been doing some music with him. We've been working
And
on
for him, because he felt that he had a son,
yeah. Well, he
it
knew
had to be.
he thought for about a good 40 odd years that he had this son somewhere, because
Yeah,
she had told him that. She
right.
told him at the time that she was having a baby, but she was giving the baby up. And so he's gone through his whole life, knowing this, and then to connect with that child as an adult, it's something he's known all his life. So he had to then adjust to that and think, wow, so I haven't had a son all this time,
Mm.
you know. But he was really good. He said, if you need any help, I'll try and help you if I can. To pursue it, to find out, who your father is. So he was really good.
That's great.
Going back to my birth mother, she wasn't very helpful after that.
Mm.
She said it was always him. I don't know who it could be. But it was soon after that I then went to Scotland to visit my auntie, her sister. And it was a weekend actually just to visit her, visit my cousins I hadn't met before. And they were lovely. And, it was a lovely welcoming. We didn't get there till like 2 a.m. or something because the flight was delayed and everything was delayed at the airport. And we finally got there 2 a.m. and they had bagpipes playing and lots of nibbles and drinks and champagne and welcome to Scotland and all this, bless them, at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was great, and it wasn't really until then she said, oh, well, how's my birth father. I said, well, he's not my birth father. And she said, oh, well, I know who it is then. And I mean, I'm expecting to go up there to meet my cousins, to meet her and have a good time. And now I'm suddenly being told that she knows who my real father is, which I wasn't expecting at all. So that was very strange. I had to go through the weekend. She gave me some hints, she gave me some clues, but she said, really, your birth mother has to tell you. You have to talk to her about this. But she knew that she had a brief relationship with this guy at the time, and there can't be anyone else because she wasn't with anyone else at the time. So going back then to my birth mother, she didn't want to talk to me about it. She said, I don't know who it could be. I can't help you. And she withdrew quite a bit after that, which was a shame. But really, importantly for me, it was, well, I've got to find out if this is true because, it was only a few weeks after I came back from Scotland that my auntie said, look, it's Maurice Gibb. You get your voice from him, all of that. So it was a case of, well, if it wasn't really like, oh my God, Maurice Gibb from the Bee Gees. Wow. I can't believe it. It wasn't really, I didn't sort of feel like that. Strangely, I just thought, okay, that sort of makes sense because he's a musician, he's a successful musician, but he has similar interests. He loves the studio. He works he was behind all the sound of the Bee Gees. He behind a lot of the production, and that made sense because I've always had that interest myself. And I really it was a good 10 years of really pursuing that and researching that to find out if it was true.
Yeah.
Because if it is, then I need to know. I'm getting older now. I need to know my medical history, which I haven't got, and my identity. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great that it was someone who was a musician because it made sense that's where I would have thought my music comes from anyway. So it was a long journey from there to find out the truth. Definitely, yeah.
So at some point it must have then sort of sunk in, wow, this is quite a musical legacy, and now I'm able to put the puzzle pieces together because I have such a real thirst and passion for music that goes deeper than the norm, just like the Gibb family is known for, all every single one having this thirst for incredible music. that must have, when was it when it clicked in? You said, this is actually, it could have been maybe one of the Beatles, but it's one of the Gibbs. That's cool. It could have been,
Well, the funny thing is, I actually, when I had the test back that said that this guy wasn't my father, the immediate thing that I thought was, well, who was around her at the time? She's not giving me any answers. I had nothing to go on. She told me all these names that she'd worked with and all these acts and artists that she was around. And one of them was, I was just looking through pictures of all these various artists. I thought, well, I didn't know if it was one of them or not. It's just I'd had nothing to go by. And I'm thinking, well, it feels like it should be a musician. So who and this was before I went to Scotland. So I was just like looking through all the artists that she knew. One act, the Dave Clark Five.
Sure, yeah.
I looked at and I saw Dave Clark. Oh, my goodness, I look like him. And when I could look back at younger pictures of me and younger pictures of him, it's like, my God, yeah, I could be that. I look like him. I really do look like him. So
you and I look like we could be cousins.
Yeah.
The Masters family come from Yorkshire.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The problem is when you've got no clues and you've got nothing at all to go by. You're trying to join up the dots yourself.
Yes.
And that was, I had a little look into that, and when I mentioned that to my auntie, she well, basically he was 10 years older than my birth mother anyway, and there's not really any possibility that he could be my father. But it was a strange thing to. I'm looking, I'm searching, I've got nothing, But then when I was told it was Maurice, a lot just sort of sat with me and felt right. It felt, this, I don't know, but it makes sense. There's a lot about it makes sense. So I've got to find out if this is true. But it was, I'm looking back now, it's now, about 12 or so years since I was told that. And, it's been so long of going through and really through the years, everything fitting into place. And I was 99% sure. But it wasn't until I got the DNA confirmation, which is just over 2 years ago now.
You can see the resemblance. You do see it. Yeah.
I did look a little bit different then. I was able to grow hair, which is good. I didn't realize at the time that maybe one day it would go, but yeah.
There you look like a pop star right there, ready to go.
Well, I was in a band then.
Cool shot.
I was in a really good band at the time then, and we were really doing lots of stuff. It was a really good time. But yeah,
you were developing the look already. See,
I didn't even know it.
You didn't even know it.
Yeah, it's just you grow as you go through the years. For me, it was I just wanted to create music. I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to do as much of that as I possibly could, and that's been just my passion my whole life. I can't put a guitar down and leave it for. I mean, if I go on holiday for 2 weeks or something like that, I can't wait to pick up an instrument or get working on something again, because it's just there the whole time. I've got ideas all the time, and little melodies going on, and I live and breathe it, which is a bit of a curse sometimes.
It's like a 24/7. You're constantly.
Yeah, I wish I was normal sometimes,
right? You're constantly being inspired, which is a beautiful thing. So as that happened, then now you're entering into this prominent musical family, the Gibb family. Tell us about that. What was that process like? Were they very excited? Were they welcoming? Who did you get a chance to meet? I believe there's a cousin that's watching right now. Is it Hazel?
Ah,
She's
hi, Hazel.
commenting as well, and she says, Hazel Gibb, Nick is a lovely addition to our family.
Oh, Hazel, thank you. I was about to say lovely Hazel.
Lovely Hazel. Hazel, welcome to the Jim Masters Show live. And you are now a lovety. That's right. When you watch our show, you are a Jim Masters Show lovety. Everybody's a lovety here. So, what
Yeah.
was now you have the established Gibb family, and this is news to them. What was that process like?
Well, it was literally a few months after getting the DNA confirmation that I was contacted by Lesley, which is their elder sister, and she said we had a great long conversation, great long phone call, and she's over in Australia, so she said, I've only just heard about this. I knew nothing about you. I can't believe it. And she was so lovely and welcoming and saying how happy she was to have a new nephew. And we just talked about everything. It was lovely. And it was then, she said, you should really get together with Debbie, my daughter, because she sings. She's been singing all her life. And, you two will really hit it off. And, so it was, I met Debbie and was able to connect with Debbie through Lesley. So that was really lovely because as soon as I connected with Debbie, it was like brother and sister. We just, hit it off straight away. We started talking about everything we'd done musically, what she'd been up to. And it was just really lovely to share. She's a similar age to me. So we shared, all the musical things that I've been doing. She's been involved with tribute acts and like you said at the beginning
Karen
of the show,
Carpenter.
very much but these are like big shows, big like
Yes.
Vegas style shows with dancers and everything on big stages. These are like really big shows across Australia. So that's what she's been doing a lot of her musical life, whereas I've been more writing and writing original songs and that sort of side of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really exciting for both of us. What we're doing now is because she can be now herself. She can sing with her own voice. She's not being someone else. She's not emulating anyone else vocally. And the same for me, really. I've had so many different bands and been involved with so many different styles of music that. For me as well, it feels like the first time I can be myself as well, because when there's no genre, we're not going to put a genre on what we're doing at all. We're just going to hopefully write some good songs and hope people like what we're doing and just do that really. But yeah, that's I've connected obviously with then her sister and some other members of Lesley's family, which is really nice and it's a good starting point. I hope that at some point that maybe I'll connect with other members of the family. We haven't yet, but what will be will be. If it comes together, then that would be really nice. But it's still early days, I think, for everybody.
It's still they're processing it all, sort of understanding, how. What about Barry?
Yeah.
Any contact with Barry, his brother?
No, not yet. I mean, it'd be nice to know what he thinks of Tragedy. If he likes it. But and again, like I say, it's early days. You got to remember that Maurice was 17 years old. When I was 16.
Right.
This is back in the summer of love of 67. That his career was only just taking off. This was before Lulu. Before he was with Lulu. It's early times for him, and so for me to appear so many years later, I'm 54 now, so I was born in 68. So Maurice wouldn't have known about me. So it was, I've suddenly appeared really to the family, and that must be hard for them and difficult to get their heads around the fact that I exist. But I do, and we're all human. And I'm a musician as well, and it would be lovely to connect with other musicians in the family because there are so many.
Right, exactly. It's an extraordinary family. So when you realized again that there is this Gibb connection, it sort of answered a lot of questions for you
Yeah.
from a musical standpoint, huh?
Well, in lots of ways, because it answered a lot of questions. Because especially like a couple of years ago, when I got the confirmation, it's a conclusion. It's an end of a long journey, and it's not just finding your identity. It's lots of everything else that's involved with that, and it's hard to describe. But when you're growing up and you don't have an identity, you don't know why you are who you are, and
Right.
where you've come from. It does affect how you are in life. It does affect. I found it affected, some relationships in the past where I was a bit reluctant to commit, or I would be perhaps a bit oversensitive to trust and things like that. Whether that comes from, that sort of being abandoned as a baby. I don't think I was abandoned. I was put into a home, and luckily adopted, when I was 18 months old. So I wasn't long, in a home, and I obviously don't remember any of that. But it's answered a lot of things for me, in the way that I feel about myself. I know who I am now, and more importantly, medically, I can answer some questions now. I have answers to questions. Years ago, it was a question of, am I going to inherit something, which, any diseases or anything from, I
Yeah.
need some medical history. So
That's smart to do that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if this is true, what I've been told, I need to know if he is my father, so I can find out some medical history, because I'm getting to an age where things start to fall off. So I'm told. It hasn't happened yet, but I've been told these things. So
You mean you
um,
start the car, but it doesn't want to leave the driveway?
exactly that, exactly that, and everyone knows about that. So yeah, I was wanting to know, important things really that could be coming up as
Yeah,
I'm getting
getting
older.
prepared. And
Um,
did you already know, you and I were chatting our nationalities beforehand, because you said you burn in the sun. I said I'm lucky I tan, but my sister burns. Did you know or learn more about your nationality and cultural heritage through all of this as well, having now the Gibb background as well?
well, firstly, I'll say I do go brown though. Although I burn,
You
I
burn
do go
first and
pretty
then
dark.
you warm up.
Yeah, and I catch it really quite quickly as well. I really do go quite dark. Um, but I think a lot of like DNA side of stuff, of the past ancestry side of my bloodline.
Yeah.
Um, I've learned a lot from that. There's a Scottish connection, an Irish connection, Norwegian, French, which probably a lot of people have got, being European.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm about 53% Scottish, I think. I won't quote that, because my partner Jackie knows all of that side of stuff, so
Yeah.
she remembers
Yeah.
all that. I don't. But yeah, I've got sort of knowledge of that. Certain other questions have been answered. Obviously, talking to Lesley and talking to Debbie. Um, there's this is the other unfortunate thing. When I got my confirmation, which I'd say actually what happened was, I put my DNA on a website, ancestry.com, which you couldn't you weren't allowed to do before 2016 from the UK. You weren't allowed to put your DNA there. You could from other countries. I don't
What
know
about
why,
the
but
UK? Yeah.
so
Was
I
it a
forgot about that one.
privacy thing or something? You were concerned about privacy?
I don't know. Maybe it was just. I mean, it is. I think the biggest one in the world now. I don't know. I don't know. But that changed. I was putting my DNA on other websites, particularly a Y-DNA website, which deals with all the male line. Goes back. You can go back about 500 generations on that. Um, excuse me. So that was the initial thing to do. But when I heard that you could put your DNA on Ancestry, I did that, and I've got to say that within 10 days, I got confirmation that I matched 100% as half sibling with Adam Gibb, and also with two cousins. So, I don't why
confirms. Yeah.
it was amazing that his DNA was on there, and I matched with him. Thank you, Adam. I don't know why he did it, if he did it to help or not, but thanks, because that really did. It was real closure for me, and it was an end of my journey, and it wouldn't have happened without. I mean, I would have matched to the other cousins, but to have Adams there was really the cherry on the top, because that was the information I needed to prove Maurice was my father. Because you can only match like that if you share the same parent. So
Right.
it was really the unfortunate thing, though. At the same time, I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis as well in the same week. So someone of my age shouldn't really have it. It's more common with women, but I've got like the severe. There's about 100 different versions of rheumatoid arthritis, and I've got the severe aggressive one. So I found that out when I got, at the same time as being confirmed that I'm a Gibb, and of course then after talking to Lesley and Debbie, Barry's got rheumatoid arthritis. There's a lot of other members of the family has arthritis, whether it's in their fingers or whatever. And I've got it in my knees, my shoulders, and everywhere near enough. So it's just a shame I couldn't find out years before that was a possibility. I mean, whether that would have changed anything, I don't know. Maybe I could have changed my diet years ago.
The diet, or right.
I don't know, but yeah, it's sort of I got that information at the same time, which was something I was wanting to find out before anyway. It was my medical history. But so again, that was
So cool too. It's
yeah.
They say if you do your DNA, any of us, most of us know pretty much what we've been told from grandparents and parents. And like for me, English on both sides of the family, Irish on my father's mother's side. And my mother is also English, Swedish, and French, father English, Irish. And we've heard that there might be some Scottish actually on
Right.
both.
Yeah.
And maybe we know the Swedish, but maybe a little Finnish in there too. And so it's kind of cool, definitely all Northern European, but kind of cool. And if you do the DNA, people are finding all kinds of different things that they never expected at all.
Yeah. It's really quite interesting, actually, finding
Isn't
these
it?
things out.
It is.
But I think that sort of answers some questions for me as well, because although I write and like lots of different sorts of music, one particular love I have is folk type of styles, and
Yes.
not particularly Irish or Scottish, but just that kind of style of music, the folky type style. I don't even mean traditional either, really. I just mean folky. A folky feel is something I've always liked, and that's come out in my music quite often when I haven't even thought about it. That kind of feel. So I do like, it does, when you start to find out that, I've got quite a lot of Scottish in me and also quite a bit of Irish. It sort of makes you think that, well, I wonder if that's why I like some folk music and feel touched by a lot of folk music as well. I mean, if I listen
Feel like breaking out in a shanty.
Exactly. I love a good shanty. And
they're popular right now on the internet. There's that one group from Ireland, those guys that got together and they started, I don't know if it's TikTok videos or whatever it was, but they started doing the old school shanties in sort of a modern twist. And they went viral like overnight, because for some people that's brand new. They haven't heard, shanties, especially, in other parts of the world, it's all fresh. So
yeah. Hey, it gets you going, doesn't it? And it makes you feel good, and anything that raises the vibration, raises the energy, is good, and I think that sort of music always does,
It really does. How do you describe obviously Deborah's not here, and we'll have you guys back where you'll be together, and we'll keep that light on for you both.
Yeah.
But how do you describe the sound of Cousins Gibb? Now, for people who are learning about the group for the two of you for the first time, they probably will automatically say, okay, I bet it sounds probably like a modernized version of the Bee Gees because of just the name Gibb. But how do you
Yeah.
describe the unique sound, which is really something quite special to Cousins?
Yeah, I mean, we started off with Tragedy to do that in a completely different way, and the idea was to do it more like a ballad and more emotive. And what came from that was we very quickly realized that how our voices blended together so nicely. And we also decided that, you know, that was sort of in homage to our family and something to do, you know, together would be lovely to do. But the idea was really from the start was to create original music and to write together and work on original material. But we did decide as well that we wouldn't put a genre on it. We don't want to write inside a box and have to keep to that. So it was really, I think the best way of describing it is organic. Really, it's organic. It's very eclectic. It's going to be very eclectic because we could be doing a rock song, we could be doing a folk song, or we could be doing an electronic-y sounding song. You know, it's not going to also, because of Tragedy, it doesn't mean we're going to be writing ballads. It's all going to be ballads. It's not. You know, we're just so excited to be working together and so excited about what we might be doing next. It's hard to really describe it other than, you know, it's going to be organic. It's going to evolve. It's going to incorporate lots of different styles that we both like. And I think, I don't know, maybe after the album, you might be able to say, well, I think they're a bit like this, because you've got an album of songs you can listen to, and there might be, you know, certain things coming through which we don't know about just by the way we write together and the way we sing together. And something may form, you know, from that. But at the moment, we're just really excited about writing some good songs and see how it evolves, really.
You know, it's interesting too, the audience, our viewers, and a lot of wonderful comments. If you're just joining us, I am Jim Masters, and we have Nick Endacott-Gibb here from Cousins Gibb. He's there in Brighton, Sussex, England, in his beautiful studio, joining us this afternoon here live, worldwide on the Jim Masters Show Live. You know, it's really interesting because, you know, when you take a look at sort of this process of coming up with the songs and what this sound is going to be, it's interesting because you are in England and she's in Australia. So how is that working from a, you know, obviously today you can do everything with, as we see here, you know, with the technology being so connective now, you can do anything from remote locations. But have you guys gotten together physically yet in the same spot?
No, yeah, that's the other thing as well. We still haven't met yet, and we're dying to meet each other, you know, as cousins, let alone, you know, working together. We're really excited about when that's going to be. Obviously, Australia has a lot of restrictions still, travel wise. It's a bit early to try and arrange anything at the moment. We're going to see how things pan out. Hopefully, the way things are going, if it, you know, it does carry on going on the way it is, then everything will open up a bit more and it'll be a bit easier. But we've got a lot of work to do before, because I think if say she was to come over here, it'll be nice to incorporate that with perhaps some live shows and that sort of thing, you know, and sort of coincide it with that, because we've got a lot of work to do writing at the moment anyway. And our plan is to do some live shows, you know, maybe next year, maybe, you know, see how it goes. But I think that's when we'll eventually meet, is either I'll go over there or she'll come over here around the time of organizing shows, I think. But no, it's great with technology now. What you can do is all I have to do is strap a little USB to a pigeon, and I send my pigeon off, and I only have to wait 2 weeks, and then she gets the USB by pigeon, and then she takes it off, and she does her little bit, puts all her recordings on the pigeon, and the pigeon comes back to me. It's amazing what you can do with pigeons nowadays.
Does the pigeon have a name?
Jonah, actually. Jonah the pigeon. Been with me 15 years. It's quite an old one, but Jonah knows what to do. I trust Jonah. Debbie now trusts Jonah. It's quite easy. We do have a good relationship. When Jonah eventually passes, I think we'll be a bit stuck then. But I try not to look too far ahead.
Yeah.
But, good. Get yourself a good pigeon, and you can do anything.
I was going to say, if it was a stork, I'd be a little concerned.
Yeah.
What's going to be dropped off?
Yeah, they're generally used for other things, aren't they? Yeah. So,
things a little bit larger than USBs and little memory cards.
Don't trust storks.
Yeah.
I trust a pigeon.
A pigeon is, but that pigeon must be, to go clear across the Atlantic and get into Australia, the time zones, the weather must really be extraordinary. With just the clarity of knowing where to go, where to land,
Exactly.
and to come back.
Yeah, I think Jonah's quite good because knows when to. Cousins sort of generally organizes it so that they can stop off on a boat on the way, and have a little rest. So it's always coincided with when there's perhaps a cruise going that way, or some kind of and probably hop from one cruise to another on the way to have some rest, to get something to eat.
Talk about flying south for the winter. That takes it to the next level.
Yeah. so Jonah has made this all possible.
Jonah.
Without Jonah, none of this would be happening. You wouldn't have a tragedy. You wouldn't have a Cousins Gibb. It's amazing.
It would be a tragedy that we don't have the tragedy, right? Exactly.
It really would. Yeah. I would get Jonah out, but he's asleep.
He's asleep. Yeah.
I don't want to, there's an idea I want to send in a couple of days, so I'm letting him.
Dana is watching in Canada and says Tesla is coming out with high-speed pigeons.
Yeah.
Oh, so if Jonah retires,
I don't want Jonah to hear that. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Jane's watching and says,
again, that might be something I have to look into.
You've got to look into that maybe.
If Jonah passes, which God forbid, don't want to think about it, but
we won't.
If that ever happens, then I
might have to call Elon Musk, maybe, and you can write the theme music for his new vehicle or something, do the commercials.
That'd be lovely.
In exchange for the high-speed pigeon, barter works.
Yeah, contra deals. I'm all about contra deals. Yeah.
So Jane is here, Anastasia. Welcome, Jane, to the Jim Master Show Live. Anybody new, we would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell everybody you know about our series here. And you can binge watch over 600 episodes of our series, which is amazing. Nick and Deb have such a beautiful blend. Tragedy was a wonderful introduction song to showcase all of this.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you so much.
What was it about that particular song, Nick, that spoke to you that you wanted to do that new spin on?
Well, like I say, when I remember listening to, there was a couple of songs of theirs, the Bee Gees, I liked when I was younger, and Tragedy was one of those that really stuck out for me. But even then, when I was 11 years old or so, I thought, wow, the production on that is incredible. That's what I would hear in songs. I used to love the production on it, but also the lyrics for me were really. I don't know. They stood out for me, and I thought it was just one of those songs that I remember through my life as having such beautiful lyrics. And I don't know. I thought they were a bit hidden, really, in the song. Obviously it's a great song. It's a majorly, it's been such a hit for them. Excuse me, but it was a case of to decide on which song to do and what might work. That one for me, I thought I might be the one, because the lyrics are so lovely.
Yeah.
And as soon as I started working on it and thinking of a different way of doing it, all of it popped out. And I thought, if I can get this right, this is going to be beautiful, and that's what we wanted to do: create something beautiful, and do it in a different way that no one's done before. There's been a lot of rock versions of it and other versions of a lot of their songs, but we just wanted to do something special with this. And as soon as we started working on it, it was, yeah, this is going to be great, So it was the lyrics really more than anything, because that I thought, oh, if we can just work out how to do this and bring those lyrics out, then that was the idea, So that immediately was I thought, well, what could we do? And it wasn't long. I thought, well, what do I like? Which songs did I like back when I was younger? And yeah, I don't know, tragedy and then it just sort of dawned on me, yeah, I think this is it. This could be, the one.
How'd you come up with this beautiful album cover too, or this single cover?
I've got to say that's my lovely partner Jackie. She did the artwork. I've got a great friend called Cluedo who does a lot of artwork, and he's been working on stuff for us as well. And he started, Jackie started this idea, and then he did a little bit of work on it, and then Jackie then finished it. And we're depicting me there standing with Debbie. That's the idea. And for us, it's a bit like a family tree type of idea as well.
Yes.
And you can't really see with that image, but just above the tree, there's two birds flying off, which we've got in our logo. And that's a nod to spirits having flown.
Spirits having flown. That's beautiful.
But it's also become part of our logo, which is like me and Debbie, as well as two birds flying together, singing together.
And now, is this part of the team that was involved in the project?
Yeah. Christian, you see down the bottom there, Christian Smith, fantastic guy. He's such an overall brilliant musician and singer and songwriter and composer. And I sent him the song. I said, look, I've done some early piano on this, but I'd love you to do some proper stuff. And he said, as soon as he heard it, he said, oh, I'd love to do that. So he came over and we worked over an afternoon, and he just did such a lovely job. The whole song opened up once his piano was done. And it was from then on really that then you see Eddie Kramer in the corner. Now, Eddie Kramer, if no one's heard of Eddie Kramer, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Eddie Kramer because he was Jimi Hendrix's producer, and amongst many other artists like Led Zeppelin and AC/DC, Kiss, top legendary producer. I did a course with him a few years ago, which was a production course in France, and he's such a lovely guy, and I learned so much from him. And we've been in contact since then. And I thought I'd send him the song and really ask him what he thought and what his ideas about it could be. And initially, really to ask him if he could mix it for me, because I thought that would be really nice to get a really good mix from a top producer. We wanted it to be the best we could, and he loved it and couldn't wait to get work on it. But he suggested perhaps having an oboe. He asked me what other instrumentation am I going to be putting in. And by this time I'd already done some strings, but I was going to put, the idea was to put some guitar on. And he said, well, that sounds nice, but hey, how about a bit of cor anglais or some oboe? And I thought that sounds great, a great idea. So I found this guy, Don Kelly, and he's done the music for Poirot. He's worked with Madonna. He's friendly with Nigel Kennedy. He's right up there. He's not only such a good classical trained player, but he's a very creative musician as well. So I gave him a rough melody of what I had, or an idea of what I thought for the oboe, and he just took it on further. And he said, look, I've just done this other little bit on there as well. What do you think? And I was blown away. I couldn't believe it, you know. And that's sort of what I wanted, though. I didn't want someone to copy what I've done. I'm not an oboe player, you know. Excuse me. I work with melodies and harmonies and things like that, but I'm not an oboe player. And there are certain ways that you play an oboe that you only know if you're an oboe player, you know. And I can't emulate things like that. So I was hoping he would be creative with it too, you know, not just copy what I've done. And he really was. And so he did the solo, and he did an outro part as well on the outro chorus. And it was just absolutely beautiful. And it was so lovely to have a player like that, you know, come in. And I think that really topped it as well. And then once Eddie had mixed it and mastered it, you know, and sent it back, it was, yeah, we've achieved something nice, really nice here, which we wanted to do, you know.
What was it like when you first heard the blending of the voices together? That must, for both you and Deborah, that must have been like a real aha moment.
Yeah, it's funny because we both said, you know, at some point here and there, we can't tell who is who. It's like there's a little moment where, because I do some higher harmony and she comes down low, and then I'm low and then she's high, and we do that on some, you know, some other songs that we're working on. And when that sort of happens, it's difficult to know, because you're following, or you're listening to her, and then you're hearing a high part, but it's not her, it's me, and vice versa. So yeah, I think there's a blend there we both often said, you know, wow, it's like that. It's almost like we've become one at various points within the song, and I've never experienced that before. You know, like I said, I used to envy people that were singing with their families and they're singing with, you know, a brother or sister, and now I'm doing it, and it's an incredible feeling. And just, yeah, when it was all finally mixed, you know, I mixed it to a certain point and then sent everything to Eddie, and when he did his magic on it, which he's known for, it really opened up everything. And it was absolutely beautiful. And that's another thing why we're so excited, because after Tragedy, it really made us realize we've got to keep doing something. We've got to keep working together. And you know, we've got something we should develop. And and so we did another song, we did another single, Coming Home, and that we were going to hold on to that for a bit, but it was getting to Christmas time and the winter period, the holiday season, and we thought, well, we don't want to wait a year to release it because it is so wintry. So we quickly got it out just before Christmas last year, and that actually is a little bit shanty-ish. It's a little bit folky. We've got a lovely tin whistle at the beginning leading you into the track, and it has got that sort of feel to it. But again, with that song, it was the way it came together with our voices, just blended so nicely, and you know, and that's our first original song, which is out at the moment as well, you know, on all the platforms. So
what inspires you? How are you? What are some of the things that inspire you when you're, like in this case with Coming Home? What was the inspiration? What were you thinking of? And did you guys collaborate in the songwriting? Did you both contribute? How does that?
Yeah, well, it was an idea I had floating about, and I was originally writing some material for my band, and I wanted to evolve my band out of the box. You know, I had my band going for nearly 10 years, and it was very Britpoppy, 60s-y sort of sounding, 60s, 90s, you know, a bit of a blend of both. And after about 10 years, I wanted to evolve it. I wanted to grow it further, a bit more out of that box. So I was originally writing some songs to evolve that for an album. And sorry, it was one of those songs that I had kicking around, which I didn't think suited the band. It was, it would evolve. It would evolve the band into, it just didn't really suit the band. Even where I was trying to take it. So that was just one of a couple of or so ideas I had sitting around, and it was very just an acoustic guitar really with a bit of bass on it and some melodies, and I said to Debbie, look, I've got this idea that I think would really work nicely with us. What do you think? And I just sent her this rough draft, and she would absolutely loved it. She'd say, I heard it a few days ago and it's still in my head, and I'm going to bed and it's still in my head,
Good
Oh,
thing.
that's good then. It must be catchy,
That's right. Exactly.
So I said, look, if you'd like to work on some lyrics, I can work on the music a bit further and develop it a bit more. So that's what she did. She worked on some lyrics. Sorry, and came up with an idea of a title. We both wanted to really, we wanted to highlight the lack of connection that people have had over the last couple of years with the pandemic. Not being able to see your loved ones, connect with family, especially in the holiday season where that's what you're used to doing every year. It was really, that's what we wanted to write about, and that's what we wanted to sort of highlight really with the song. So after Debbie wrote some lovely lyrics, I then worked with her further with the lyrics, and then developed the music further, and it came together again organically and very easily between us, and it just became, it almost wrote itself, from the initial idea. And the lyrics that Debbie gave me inspired me even further. I then had some other ideas and we tweaked them and worked together on them, and we thought, we've just got to get this out because it's so fitting for now. And we wanted to really get that across about, and write a song about how we've all been feeling over the last, at least 2 years,
There's been a lot of teachable moments, in our lives, because we've had to, we've had to pivot, and sometimes we've had to rewrite the story, and we've had to do all these different things. And how about you? What are some of the? I mean, you've experienced a lot in recent years. That's turned out to be positive. You've had some really deep answers to your family connection and who you are, and all of that, which is a beautiful thing. But what are some things that during this time of rebooting and refreshing and reflection, what are some of the things that you have been doing and the teachable moments maybe that have stuck with you? What did Nick learn about Nick during this time? And has it, obviously with coming home, is it added something to your music going forward?
I think primarily it got me to finish things, and work on things that I hadn't had time to do. Before the pandemic, I was really so busy with the band, festivals and various, regular gigs, coupled with producing some other people. Just before the pandemic, I was working on an EP for a band, and I still had work for them to do once we were in lockdown. So I was able to keep busy. I was still busy because I still had a good 6 months of work with various bits and pieces that I had, I was working on and continuing to work on. So I was initially thinking, well, I'm busy anyway. I'll just, I'm in the studio anyway. I don't know if it's day or night a lot of the time. So, if you're in lockdown, it's like, well, are we? And to me, it's like, well, quite often I'm stuck in, with my head glued to a screen and, or an instrument. And it's like, well, my knees are aching a bit here and it's 8 o'clock and I haven't even had lunch yet. So I'll go down the road and get.
I know how that is.
Yeah. But so the only difference I was really seeing was like, well, maybe the shop's not open, or I did actually like, at times once I'd done a good day, Well, it'd be nice just to go to the pub for a couple and, and chill out. That I noticed, obviously, that, it would only be occasionally I'd do that anyway, but it was the fact that wasn't there, and I knew that wasn't there, was like, well, I can't go and sort of relax and, especially on a Friday with Jackie, after a week's work, just go and chill out and meet some friends. That obviously was hit everyone, and so everyone was feeling that. But I did get on with stuff. I was able to, arrange and organize things that I didn't have time to do. But really, I suppose as well, through that time, because I couldn't perform with the band and the band wasn't active, it's sort of, I realized quite quickly during that maybe I don't want to sort of pursue that for, forever. Especially as once the Cousins Gibb project, I started working with Debbie and that came about. I thought, I think it's time that I put the band to bed really and carry on with Cousins Gibb and put my energies into that, creativity into that. So during the pandemic, it was, I did come to some conclusions about what I actually wanted to do with my life as well. And it wasn't that easy because we couldn't perform. It wasn't that easy to keep really the band going and keep the flow going that we you're gigging all the time. You've got a flow. I'm, constantly working on getting more gigs or working on material we're going to introduce into the sets. Because that all was put on hold, that made me sort of think a lot more about, do I actually want to do that anymore as well? Because it is hard work, lugging things around and PAs and, doing all that. And,
how many are there? Well, how big is the team? Do you have a team?
No, there was just a 3-piece band, but it was my PA, and various equipment. We had mixing desks and, various things at times, backing tracks and things like that. And so it was only the three of us, but it was a lot to take out and a lot to set up and then break down every night. And or not every night, but every gig, and I think when you get to a point of been doing that for quite a long time, it's that gap actually made me sort of so just question it a bit and reevaluate whether that's what I want to do. And so I think if the pandemic hadn't happened, we'd still be in that almost machine of that treadmill of there's another gig in 2 weeks, another gig in a week, there's another gig, and there's a festival in the festival, and you haven't got that time. I only barely had time to write new material, for the band. So it did it put the brakes on everything and slowed things down for me to film.
A lot of people I've interviewed, or in this case, we have conversations with, they've said that it has been interesting only because of, they need to keep bringing the money in for work, but at the same time, they were able to do things, explore things, try things, make time for things that they were never able to do because they were always on stage or in the studio or touring or always being pulled in a million different directions. This gave them time to sort of work on self and take care of self and work on some things that maybe they always put off to the side. Oh, I'll never have time. One day when I'm 80, I'll pull it out of the drawer and I'll work on that. And now a lot of people have been able to do, or at least get some of that started. It sounds like the same for you, even though there's the nervousness of, gee, we got to keep going here because we got to bring the money in and we got to keep producing and creating and keep the name out there. It also gave you time to really find some clarity and some focus and some redirections. So coming out of the gate, out of all of this, you're supercharged and you're ready to go, which I think is great, right?
Yeah, I think it, like I said, it really gave me time to get things organized and finish things and finish projects and to really work out what I want to do. And it wasn't that long though after the lockdown that when the lockdown first happened that I then was, connecting with Debbie. So I already had something which was exciting that could happen, so which was good, But I think, yeah, it did get a bit worrying when it went on a bit because when we kept going back into lockdown and different sorts of lockdowns, it was a lot, especially for musicians and the hospitality industry, not really seeing a light at the end of the tunnel was very, very, very hard to because, if you haven't got a goal or it's very difficult to have a goal, it's very difficult to then carry on working towards something if you don't know if that something is able to happen. So
or it's going to stay. Maybe it'll
yeah, I
disappear,
mean,
right?
how long are we not going to be able to perform? How long are we not going to be able to sing in public? How long is the hospitality industry going to be dead?
People couldn't even go into studios. I remember we had, I think it was the Irish group Corner Boy. They were on the show, but we had to move around the date for when they were coming on the show because, the lockdowns are pretty intense in Ireland too. And the founder and creator and lead guitarist, he said, well, I have a little bit of a problem. I can get to the studio because I live close to it, but the rest of the bandmates, they couldn't because you weren't allowed to leave your house for a certain amount of, miles, kilometers, what have you, because you could get stopped. What are you doing? Where are you going? So they weren't able to get together actually for a while to get into the main studio. I think it was towards Dublin, and do what they had to do for a while.
Yeah. Unless you're in a bubble, you have to be part of the right bubble, which I always found very confusing. If he's in my bubble, but he's in another bubble, but I'm in another bubble, but they aren't in their bubble. And they aren't in their bubble. Wait a minute, but they know them and they know them. Can we meet or not? Whose bubble are we in?
Whose bubble are we in? And do you have proof that you haven't been in the wrong bubble?
Yeah,
Let me see your ID card.
How would you prove that anyway? Oh no, he's in my bubble. Oh, all right then. I mean, okay, can you prove that he's in your bubble? Well, no, he is. No, prove it. You can't. Everyone's in everyone's bubble, surely. I mean, or they could be. But I'm glad all that nonsense is over.
I don't know. It sounds like there's a song in there somewhere involving bubbles.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Don Ho because he did that one already. He did Tiny Bubbles years ago.
And there's been blowing bubbles, hasn't there? So we can't
blowing bubbles. Yeah. We had a question that came in from Dana's watching in Canada saying, loving this interview. Hazel saying it is a lovely show as well. Thank you very much, Hazel. This is what it's like. We do conversations here. She also said earlier, it kind of zipped by because we've got a lot of comments coming in, and thanks everybody. Hazel invited you to she wants you to go to her birthday party.
She did, or she is going to again.
Yeah, she did it.
She did, because I was going to say, I went to. When I met her for the first time.
Says, I want you to come to my birthday.
Okay. Well, she had her 60th.
Happy 60.
But we came up. Me and Jackie went up to meet them for the first time, so that was lovely.
Isn't that cool?
And met various other members of the family, looked around Maurice's childhood home as well, because that's all in Manchester.
Yes.
And it was a lovely weekend, and it was lovely to connect with people I'm related to.
Yeah.
And they're so lovely.
They're so lovely. Sorry. I was going to say, isn't there also a connection to the Isle of Man? I remember in an interview watching Andy Gibb mention that there was this connection to the Isle of Man right there.
Yeah, they were originally Manchester and then moved to. Now I think I'm getting this right. I was going to say Jackie knows all this. My mind is like a sieve. My mind is just on music all the time. So
Yeah.
forgive me if I get this wrong. But yeah, they're in the Isle of Man and then they went to Australia.
Then to Australia. Yeah.
Yeah. But the childhood home is, you know, in Manchester. So I had a look around there and the garden and the school where they went to school. You know,
I think I saw some photos online. You went to the cemeteries as well, I believe. Robbie.
Yeah, Hazel took us around and showed us everywhere, and you know, really, really we had a really lovely day with her, showing us around, and met some other people, friends of theirs, and it was just a really lovely weekend. And I've got I think he's a second cousin. He came and he performs with his father, doing all sorts of 50s and 60s stuff with a PA and they came and they performed for Hazel's party, and it was great. They were so good. It's really such good singers, and it was lovely, you know, to meet them as well because it was more relatives, you know. It was a really lovely time, and yeah, we're hopefully going to be seeing each other again at some point. But yeah, it was lovely to meet them all. And in fact, we arranged to meet them. We came down and got ourselves all sorted in this little B&B, and we thought we'd go over the road to this pub, get something to eat, have a couple of beers, because it took us like 8 hours to get there. It was
Wow.
a nightmare getting there. There was accidents and all sorts of hold-ups, and you know, by the time we were there about 8:30 at night, we just wanted some food and we wanted to chill out and have a beer. And so we went across the road to this pub, quite a big pub, and we looked at the menu and we went, oh, this looks nice, we'll get that. Oh, lovely. And I went up to order, and he said, oh, sorry, if you haven't booked, we can't do your food. We've only got a limited kitchen or something. I said, really? You're joking? You're not doing food? And it's a Friday night, about 8 o'clock, yeah, 8:30. And I said, really, you're not doing not even any bites, not even any sandwiches? No, unless you've booked a table. Sorry. So we went back out and we thought, oh, this is, and then I looked, there was a kebab shop next to it. I thought, I tell you what, let's just have a couple of beers and we'll get a kebab later. So, you know, take it back, you know. Anyway, so we had a few beers. Hazel rings up. Where are you? We're around the corner at such and such. And I said, well, we're just sitting having a couple of beers. Now, I'm unshaven. You know, we've been traveling all day. I was gonna make myself presentable for the big meet, you know, for the first time. The next day, you know, he said, "Oh, we'll come and see you." Like, oh, no, great, no, that's great, but I'm in my traveling clothes. I'm unshaven, and we haven't eaten, and literally within about half hour they turned up. Hazel and Justine and Heather. And plus some other friends and lovely Tina, traveled all the way, pardon me, all the way over from, I think it was the Netherlands or Sweden. She come all the way over, and she's a great artist, by the way. She does lovely drawings of the Bee Gees, and she's amazing artist. She gave me a lovely picture of Maurice, which she done. Lovely. So suddenly we were bombarded by all these people. Hey, Nick, hey, you know, hugs and, you know, and get some beers, you know. So by I think it was about 8 or 9 pints later, we finally made it.
8 or 9.
I think it was probably more than that, to be honest.
You do have Scottish and Irish in you.
Oh, it was Guinness as well. You know, it was all Guinness.
Wow.
And okay, you know, at least we can get some food now. The kebab shop was shut, wasn't it? So great. Everything was shut. We had no dinner. We were really pretty gone by then.
Yeah.
And we made it back. And luckily, Jackie had got a couple of sausage rolls, and we had a sausage roll and went to bed. But then the next day, of course, it was the party. We were so hungover the next morning.
I would imagine. Yeah. Huh?
And I mean, Hazel was really hoping that may sing or do something with my cousin, and I'm sorry, I really couldn't. I really couldn't. My voice was like, Johnny Cash, or it was like, sorry, Hazel, I can't. Please forgive me. Oh, I've been telling everyone you're going to sing. Oh no. But luckily I didn't have to. But yeah, I would never have a drink before a gig. I would never, I know it's only a family thing, but I don't know. If I'm going to do something, I like to do it properly. And if I'm going to sing, I'm not going to sing when I've been half cut or been drinking the night before.
Right.
And that's just the way I am. I want to do things right if I do it.
Exactly.
So I swerved that, thank goodness. But what a weekend. It was incredible, and it was lovely. And we made a sort of a bit of a break out of it as well. We went to Wales afterwards. And,
very nice.
And went to the place where they filmed The Prisoner in Wales.
Oh yeah, that's right.
First time I've ever been there, and that was incredible seeing all that. Always wanted to go there, and then finally then made it back down just sort of a few days later back home. But yeah, it was quite a whirlwind, but amazing weekend. It was lovely to meet them.
Absolutely right. Yes, and all the connections and the familial, relations. How about the your initial family? Now that obviously you have this connection with the Gibb family, the siblings, the parents that you were raised with, how have they felt? And is there are you with them, or how is that working?
Well, again, all through the years, I was saying that this is what I've been told, and this is apparently Maurice is my father, and my younger sister was quite supportive when I wanted to talk about it. My older sister and my brother didn't really say much, whether they thought it was real or not, or I don't know. They didn't really say a lot about it. Probably the fact that, especially my older sister, she'd have had posters of them when she was younger on the wall. Well, I've been growing up with the son of one of these all my life, and I never knew. I mean, maybe that was a bit of a, for her to handle that. The fact that her brother was, really one of
part of this gang here, right?
Yeah. It could well have been a bit of a, a shock for her, really, too. To find that. No, unfortunately, my mum and dad they passed away before I got my confirmation.
Before you got the confirmation.
Yeah. But they, like I say, they were always supportive, and I know they would have been behind me, and behind all of it, really. They were just so lovely.
Yeah.
It's a shame they're not around today to.
They probably would be very surprised, and
I think they would be happy for me, that I got
that it got settled.
Closure, really, yeah. But I talk to them. Every day. I believe they're still around us, and guiding us and helping us. All our loved ones. So I have comfort with that. That I can talk. I talk to them, and tell them how I'm feeling, and I don't. They've left physically, but I very much believe they're still with me.
That's a beautiful thing. Absolutely, they are. Sure, they were there looking out for you, and still are in many different ways. Tell us about the beautiful studio that you're in. That nice setup that you have there.
No, it's just before the pandemic, I invested into really getting it together for clients coming in, and sort of up my game a bit, and I just got it all together, and then the pandemic hit, and that actually wasn't very good, because I set everything up and then couldn't get any clients in. But it's a small bijou production studio. I can't get a band in here. I can get 2 or 3 people in, but not a drum kit, that kind of thing. So I work more as production, and working with singer-songwriters and artists like that. The guys I'm working with at the moment are getting a band together, but they want it to sound like a band. So I know session drummers and people that can come in and do that side of thing. And then I do my bit, adding strings or ideas with guitar and developing the songs. So I do that all here. I've got lovely Midas M32 desk, which is my pride and joy. As soon as I saw one of those, I was out somewhere and someone was using one for doing live sound with it. I just was in love with it. It's just such a beautiful. It's a digital desk, but it's so beautiful, and you can record onto SD card as well if you want to. So you can take it out live and record live, record bands live with it. I won't, because it's too damn heavy, and it's a studio desk for me. So, but it's lovely because I've got it all set up how I like it. So that's really nice. I've got some nice monitors, Neumann monitors there, which just literally the representation of music through them are incredible. I very rarely go to my car to check mixes now. It's just it is what it is here, and it just sounds good. I love them. So I've just sort of built up lots of different things I could, got a nice Neumann mic, the N49 there, which is a reproduction of the vintage 49 Neumann 49 mic. Beautiful, lovely and warm. So things you can't see. I've got bass amp, a nice Galen Kruger bass amp over there, and I've got a nice acoustic guitar over there, and what else have I got? I've got a Telecaster and oh my goodness. I'd have to write a whole I've got loads of stuff there. Half of it I don't even use. No, I do actually. I do use all of it at various times. I've got some keyboards in their cases, But generally, keyboard-wise, I've got a keyboard you can't see, and that I generally use with something that's called Native Instruments by Complete. Basically, it's a bundle of sampled instruments, modeled instruments, and they are lovely and gorgeous. And I use this as a MIDI keyboard, and use really sounds through the Native Instruments. The other keyboards, which are proper like keyboards, I've got the Z1, Korg Z1, and I've got a Korg Triton. I don't use that much actually, because I get a lot of sounds through Native Instruments now, but they are particular keyboards in their own right, that if I need something particular, especially the Z1, like William Orbit, all the William Orbit type sounds that he's used on Ray of Light, Madonna, all that's like, a lot of that is from the Z1. So anything like that, if I need to use sounds like that, then I'll sort of lift it up carefully from where it's hidden under God knows what else. And
how many instruments do you play?
Sorry?
How many instruments do you play?
I'm generally a guitarist and singer, but I play a bit of bass, a bit of keyboards, especially programming strings and things in the studio. But primarily, I'm a guitarist and singer, bass is it's not, I think a lot of guitarists can play bass as well, because it's it's very similar, I think anyway, and I love playing bass as well. I do actually really enjoy when I'm writing something or working on something and it gets to putting the bass line, because I would work on perhaps the chords first and a guide melody and groove, and then I would add bass afterwards, and I really enjoy that. When it gets down to putting some bass on, I really enjoy that process. Always have, I'm not a bass player, but I enough for studio recordings and things like that. I play
a great engineer, right? Yeah. Engineering is great.
Yeah, I've always loved recording, mixing. Just the recording process I've always loved. I had a 4-track for 10 years. and I used to run that with a little Atari ST, which is a little MIDI. It wasn't a computer; it was before computer. I mean, people, I think they still use them in studios for MIDI, for
Oh yes, oh
having
sure,
MIDI programs.
yes.
But I had that, and that would run all my keyboard sounds in sequence, and then I just any audio like guitar or vocal, I would then record on the 4-track with that. And I was doing that for 10 years before I had a computer. And as soon as I had a computer, wow, my goodness, God, I can do so much now. And it really opened up a lot, but yeah, just all that process of recording and production as well. When the guys come and, I think we're about 9 songs into the album at the moment.
Are you really 9 songs in?
Of these clients I'm working with.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah,
And there's a lot of production still to happen. But
yeah.
I've been working on production on 2 or 3 of them, I think, at the moment. One's nearly finished, and that process is, and when I first started, when I came in doing an EP, it's like, I've done this and I've done that since you were in. Have a listen, tell me what you think. And for me, it was just, but for them to come back and say, oh my goodness, this is great, this is incredible, oh, we love it. And it very quickly, the way I was working with them, I was obviously the right producer for them, because
Right.
you've got that's the thing, is that you can be a fantastic producer, but you've got to be the right producer for the right band, the right band for the right producer. So it's the same thing. I get inspired by what they do, they get inspired by what I do, and it's a great working relationship, which is really, really good for both of us, because I'm doing things which I think, I don't know, I really like it. I think there's something really nice happening here, but will they like that? Because they may not want that at all. They don't know what I'm going to, and they basically have just said, look, Nick, do your thing.
Right.
And, and I'm quite happy if they say, look, I don't like that, I really don't like that. I'm quite happy to say, okay, well, take it out.
Take it out, right.
But, when there are things which I think, well, this really does create something special here, I would recommend leaving that in.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they're saying, that's great, we love that bit. Anyway, so it never really gets to that. It's so good to be, working with clients that you just, you fuse with and you just blend with. And
I would imagine it's not too bad for business to have the Gibb last name, especially when it's a client that's wanting to do something. Not that you promote that, but just I would imagine that for some people it just adds something because of the wonderful legacy, the history, the understanding of music. You understood music and had a passion for it and made it your life before the Gibb name was ever brought into your life. I would imagine that having the Gibb name too, for some, it's just that star quality thing, that whole excitement of it, would be.
And it might do. It might do. I don't know.
Like, if your last name was Stallone, for Sylvester Stallone, there might be a little bit of that buzz too.
Yeah, or Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly.
Who knows what I'll be doing now if that was
Humperdinck.
Humperdinck.
You could have been Humperdinck.
I could. Yeah, I'd have been a very different person, but it would have been real to me.
Yes.
But no, I think, see, for me, it's I've always been doing this anyway, and if I'm working on something, I'm all about going by ear and feel on everything, So when I hear something and I feel something I want to add to some music or develop, they're ideas for me, and through the years, it's something I've always done and always enjoyed doing. But to now know who I am, really, it's more for me. I think, well, in a way, I know why I'm perhaps coming up with these ideas, or I know why I love doing this. Whether I'm good at it or not, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think I'm doing something which people like, you know, in production and that. But I think at least knowing that Maurice was my father, it makes sense to me why I'm doing what I'm doing, at least, you know, and having these ideas and loving what I'm doing, you know. But as for other people, I don't know. I mean, if Gibb means anything or not, generally everybody I've been, you know, working with, it's not even come into it. It's nothing to do with it. You know, it's because we've they've heard something I've done that they like, or I've got to know them somewhere, and we've been chatting about things, and it's led to it. You know, so it's not like, oh, Nick Endacott-Gibb. It's, yeah, let's do that because that'll be a good name on, or it will be, or there's bound to be something that's, you know, means something by the name. But I don't think so. You know, it doesn't mean anything to me in that sense, because I'm just still doing what I've always been doing. You know,
It's what you've always been doing, right?
yeah,
So it just comes naturally for
yeah.
you to do it, and which is an absolutely beautiful thing. If you weren't doing this, Nick, what would be that other gig you'd be doing? What else do you like to do if you weren't immersed in the music world?
I think I would probably be working with film or photography or maybe art. I used to draw and paint a lot when I was younger. It would have to be creative, you know. But then I'm saying that because I'm creative. You know, if I wasn't a musician and doing what I'm doing now, well, if I wasn't a creative person, then I don't know. Yeah, I can't answer that. You know? What's it like not to be? What's it like to not be creative?
Let's see. I don't know.
You know, I don't know.
I'll
Be a
give you a
shooter.
creative answer.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. But feeling the way I do now, if it wasn't music, it would be something creative, because it'd have to be, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've always been interested in film and photography and art and things like
Would
that.
you like to pursue those things down the line as well?
I'd love to do some acting. Yeah. I mean, I
Oh,
used to
you
do
would?
acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, I used to go to some acting clubs and things like that. And
Sure.
you know, when I was at school, I was in shows, yeah, musicals, you know, generally.
You have a
Which
comedic timing. Do you like comedy?
I love comedy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I, yeah.
What's that? The most important thing about comedy is timing.
Timing. Exactly right. It
But
is
Monty
with that,
Python, you know,
with, but I'm bumped with that little pregnant pause, as they
I
call it.
don't know if that works with the if there's any delay between us and between me and New York, but
Right.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I
No,
mean,
no delay. We're lucky. No
it's
delay.
good.
No
It's good.
Wi-Fi issues. Everything
No,
really good, and
that's good. Yeah, yeah.
it's
But
so.
yeah, acting, comedy, uh, anything really. I mean, that's always interesting to me. Yeah, yeah.
You mentioned, film and movies. What about, I'm sure it would be anybody's dream that is a songwriter or even a composer to create film scores, music, for
Definitely.
movies.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've through the years written lots of instrumental pieces, and um, you know, of such, like, you know, thought which could be put to film, or, you know, yeah, definitely. I've always had an interest in that. I've always had an interest in creating um, music which touches you in some way. You know, it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean, you know, a romantic way or a heartfelt way or a sad way, but something that gets you. You know,
Yeah.
and you know, I've always thought that it would be lovely to do something like that. Definitely, you know, had to compose some music, and for film or TV or for anything like that. Yeah, music to visuals. You know, has always been a you know, an interest, because I write music anyway. You see, because I don't just write songs.
Right.
I write music and they become songs. You know, if they
Yes.
don't become
Right.
songs, then they stay as instrumentals. You know,
And you're probably
Some,
always inspired all day long just by
yeah,
seeing things and living life. You're probably always being inspired to create music.
yeah, definitely when you're in the shower. And I don't know what it is about when you're in the shower or
Good
in the bath.
acoustics or
Something happens. I know it's not. I don't think. I think it's just. Actually, I did hear that apparently you produce more serotonin when you're in the bath or in the shower. So that feel good feeling can be inspiring creatively. So
now,
maybe
what
that's
if going back to the bubble theme, what if you're in a bubble bath? Is that like triple?
coming together now. Yes,
It's all full circle, right?
bubble baths even more so. Yes, matey, matey. I used to love matey when I was younger. Matey bubble bath,
Oh, is
and
that what it was called? We had
it was
Mr.
called
Bubble.
matey. Yeah,
Mr. Bubble.
yeah. It was great. I loved my bubble baths. I love my bubble baths, and I do miss actually. I don't have a bath in where my flat here. I have a shower, but I yeah, years ago when I was in other places, I had bars, and I used to love my bars, and I do miss having a bath. I must admit, especially the bubble baths. But I do get inspired in the shower, and
You
quite
heard
often
it
it's
here first on the Jim Master Show live. He needs a bath.
someone give me a bath. People turning up with a bath outside. I'm not going to put that. Yeah, yeah. So, Jen, I think things come into your head. Things come into my head. I would hear
24/7. Yeah.
lying in the bath. I would hear melodies coming out of the pipes, or
Mhm.
the boiler, or just something. I
Where
would,
the
and I
water's
would,
dripping
and I
or
would hear it. I would literally hear it. And I think, what did I just hear that? And I've got out of the bath, and I've recorded that. Those melodies, got those melodies down, and then they've become things. Become songs. Um, very, yeah. Whether it's because you're relaxing, like I say, serotonin, either you're relaxing, um, you're thinking about things while you're relaxing. Definitely, when I'm in the shower, I'm thinking about, or I'm humming something, or I'd be thinking about a song, and then I'd have this idea of, well, if I change that to a string instead of a guitar, that would work.
Mhm,
Oh my
mm,
God, that would work.
mhm.
And I wasn't even thinking about it before I went to the shower. So yeah, definitely an inspiring time. If you
Really,
ever
I tell
want to
you.
get inspired or be creative, head to the shower.
I tell you.
That's it.
The car too, the automobile, the vehicle. Everybody's always
Yeah,
singing in the vehicles too, and that's another area where people tend to really let
yeah,
loose, you know?
yeah, yeah. I was relying definitely through the years on working on stuff. I'd take it into the car, and then on any journeys, I'd be, listening to all the instrumental versions of when I'm trying to get melodies or lyrics to, and I would work on them whilst driving, especially driving a distance. So yeah, definitely the place to go when you're working on, for me anyway, working on stuff. That you can just put it all on and go through it, and then have it playing over and over while you're driving.
Yeah. What does Nick like to listen to? Obviously, when you're creating
Yeah,
music, sometimes it's kind of like we always think when we were kids, we would always think that the people that work at the pizza place or at the ice cream shop, that they were very lucky because they get to have pizza all day. They get to have ice cream all day. And then you
yeah.
talk to them and they're like, oh, we don't
The
eat
last
any of it.
thing they
We're so
want.
sick of it. We're around it all day long.
Yeah.
So for you, what is your go-to material? What if we were to come over there and check your iPod or your boombox or your stereo system or whatever you have, what would probably be the music of choice to listen to?
You would find now I like a lot of stuff. I like a lot of stuff, from 60s to Crowded House to uh who knows. I like lots of and hard rock, some hard rock, But you would find generally in my car, or generally what I listen to will either be Porcupine Tree or Stephen Wilson. And Stephen Wilson was basically Porcupine Tree anyway. Uh, and Stephen Wilson's has many other projects as well. He's more solo now, but yeah, Stephen Wilson. It's sort of I wouldn't like to say it's prog rock, because it really isn't. It has elements of that, but I just find what he does so inspiring, and I think the guy's a genius, really, on so many levels, because he produces and mixes other people. He remasters. I think he's done a whole collection of Yes albums he's remastered, for them. He's just a real talent, and I saw him live just before the pandemic, 2018, at the Royal Albert Hall, and I'd been following his music from when I first got an album given to me of Porcupine Tree back in '97 sort of time. He's been going quite a long time, but he's only like my age, and I've been following his music for a long time, and then finally got to saw him live in 2018. And when you see a concert and everything is so on point, I couldn't believe it. That he's got such good musicians working with him. Nick Beggs, bass players work with everybody. He's got the guy from Japan on keyboards. I forget his name. Richard Barbera? Anyway,
I know. Yeah,
he's got some top, and Gavin Harrison, top drummer. He's got the top of the top, and to me, being a producer, I'm constantly wishing I could produce like him, because he is such a talent. I'm not really into prog rock. I'm not into anything really too much, but he especially, the music covers all areas. What he does, it covers all areas, and I think he's just, I've said it before. I know he's a genius. He's just a genius. So you will find a lot of Steven Wilson, really. In fact, you'll only find Steven Wilson. I don't listen to anything else. That's it. I don't listen to anything. In fact, I don't listen to anything. I've got Steven Wilson on everywhere I go.
You do? In every room, including the shower?
Yeah, in the shower especially. Maybe that's why I get inspired in the shower. Yeah.
Is Steven aware of this?
I do tell him, but I never get an answer.
Is Jackie aware of this?
Yes.
Is Jonah aware of this?
No, because Jonah's very sensitive, and Jonah's happy sending stuff to Debbie and coming back with stuff, but when if I start talking about other artists, or especially someone I really admire, I don't know, just best to keep it to himself, really, because I don't want to. It loses bearings, if he gets upset, it loses bearings. He'll end up in, Germany or something.
Yeah.
And I can't do that to him on so many levels. So
what would the Nick of today, with all the things that have happened in your life, and some really beautiful things that have happened and that continue to happen, what would the Nick of today say to that Nick of then?
I would say, don't put all your attention on girls. You're wasting too much time with girls. Sort your music out, and do what you want to do rather than doing what other people expect you to do. I would say, give up smoking. I mean, I have now. I haven't smoked now for over 10 years.
Oh, congratulations! That's good.
Then I was, and I would say, give up smoking now. Anything like that. It's funny because you there's a lot of things, if you think about it, you would say to a younger self, to your younger self, isn't there? But I would definitely say, follow your heart with your music, and do what you think is right. Don't try and fit in with what's going on, because you'll be chasing your tail. Do what you feel is right, even if it's different from everybody else. At some point in your life, it'll go full circle, and it'll be the in thing again, or whatever. Be true to yourself, and don't worry about what anyone says. really.
And for Deborah, it's pretty much a similar situation, right? She's had an opportunity to sort of rediscover who she is and be able to do work that really speaks
Yeah,
to who she is, because she did, some fantastic work with tributes and a lot of
yeah,
other things, but a lot of times at the guidance or direction of others. But now with this collaboration with her cousin,
mm,
being able to really do some beautiful things on your and her terms together, which is kind of refreshing, isn't it?
yeah. Again, for her. It's she's finding it's an opportunity for her to be herself now, and she's so excited about doing that and working as with what we're doing. Um, she's obviously had a really good long career with
Yes.
the tribute side of things. Um, but you know, it when you could actually, for the first time, she's never really recorded anything before. You see, because she didn't need to. It was live shows, and a different beast altogether. So the recording side of things she'd never really needed to do. So she's now entering into that side of things where she'd never recorded before. So she's really happy about that. She's really happy about being herself, and recording, and what's going to happen next, and what we're going to do together next. And it's new for both of us,
Yeah.
in different ways. But yeah, I think it's quite a breath of fresh air, to be able to do that when you haven't done that, before.
Hmm. Cool stuff. You guys are really just getting started and working on so much more music. Where can they go to? Because we want to direct people to hear the music and some of what we're
Mm.
talking about. The websites, of course, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, all those
Yeah,
places for Tragedy and Coming
yeah.
Home.
All of the platforms, iTunes, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Deezer, all Tragedy's on all of those, and Coming Home is on all of those. Um, Basically, to keep up with any updates about the album, things like that, or any news. And generally, we put all that onto our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Cousins Gibb Official. That's the website's being built, so we haven't got a website just yet. But we're on Facebook, Cousins Gibb Official, plus also Instagram, at Cousins Gibb. At the moment. So it's slowly things are getting put together, and I say the website should be up and running soon, hopefully. Um,
Because it's, I mean, how long ago was it when you decided to put all this together and create Cousins Gibb? This is really like still in development. It's fresh, right? It's all coming together.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't too long after we connected, really. So, which is about 2 years now that we've been chatting, and then worked on Tragedy, and then the first original single. So, it's just naturally come together that we would be doing this. And then it was pretty soon that we decided, let's just go with something simple, Cousins Gibb. We're Gibbs and we're cousins. Speaks for itself. And the whole thing is really.
Were there other names? Were you toying with anything else? Did you have anything else on that list?
Yeah, I think we played with a few ideas, but not really much different to that, because we wanted to really have something which just fitted what we were doing together, and what we were planning to do together. So it just sort of, I think it just happened really pretty quickly that it would be Cousins Gibb. It just made sense to us,
Mm,
rather than trying to be too clever or trying to,
yeah, I think
work
it's
too
great.
hard.
I think it's modern. It's hip. You are
Yeah,
cousins. You're playing off the fact that you're related, and I think it's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, and say like the logo with the two birds that Jackie came up with just is again lovely and simple, nothing too intricate or complex, and I think it suits what we're doing, and what we're about, and we both want to come from truth, we both want to come from the heart, whatever we do. Um, and see where it leads us, really.
Yeah.
But it just, I say, it just sort of, it just seemed natural. Everything about what we're doing just came together so easily and so naturally and quickly that it is what it is, and
Yeah.
it's just very easy. Everything's very easy about what we're doing.
I tell you, it's coming together. That's why you're on the same page. This
Yeah,
was nice too. This one, what was this one for?
that's actually in the video to Coming
That's
Home.
part of the video.
Yeah, and again, it's the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. I've always loved, and Jackie's always loved,
Oh
and both
yeah.
we were both talking about, that kind of thing. And of course, that Northern Lights, and where you see it's up where there's snow and it's cold, or quite often anyway. And I think it has come down to Scotland or to further down recently. You could see the
Mhm.
Northern Lights, but generally it's up there. So it sort of fitted the idea of the song and the emotion of the song, and
Beautiful.
yeah, it's something we both really, I've never seen it
No,
never gone to see it, but it's something we both would love to do. And
to be able to go see
yeah,
and just
and Debbie feels the
experience
same.
that.
She loves all of that as well.
Now, is there also, we're talking a lot about the recording and making music and singles and working towards albums. Do you see yourselves eventually, when you're able to, touring, the two of you, going,
Oh yeah, yeah,
whether it's through Europe, maybe coming to America, to Canada? Is
yeah,
there a hope to do all of
absolutely.
that?
Yeah,
Australia?
yeah. When it's logistically possible to be able to do that, we're going to have to obviously see how things pan out. It's a bit early to be able to organise anything, I think, at the moment. Perhaps locally for her, or more locally for me, because there is still, where she's in Canberra, so there's a lot of restrictions still there. But for the UK, it's pretty good now. It is looking very positive. So if that continues, globally, then absolutely we want to be doing that as soon as we can. But at the moment we're getting the material together, for the album, and then for shows. We've got some great ideas of what we can do show wise, but it's just a matter of really knowing when we can do that, and knowing when we can start organizing that, which we can't really at the moment, I don't think.
If there was, and I'm sure there've probably been a lot of things that you've said in your head quietly, maybe
I
some
say
of
it out
things
loud and
you
people
said
think
out
I'm
loud.
mad. I talk about it all the time.
But
But
what would probably be, and again, I'm sure you've rehearsed this many times in your own mind, if you had been able to, and not that you still don't, because again, we're talking about the spirit and always having people around,
hmm,
who are no longer with us.
hmm.
But what would you say to Morris, to your biological father? What would be one of the first things you would say to him if he was standing right in front of you?
Um, Give us a hug.
Uh,
I don't. I don't
not
know.
You weren't going to say, "Can you spot me a 20?"
Yeah. So have a shave. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get your
Yeah.
hair cut. No,
Yeah.
I think I would. I think I would just. Oh, that's a hard one actually.
I know.
Um I think I'd probably just smile, and he
Yeah.
would probably just smile,
Yeah.
and that would be it. I think would probably just smile or laugh. I don't know. That's how
Yeah.
I sort of, because it would be quite a lovely thing. Um, it would be it's such a happy moment. I think
Yes.
that
Yeah.
I'd have you wouldn't be able to wipe the smile off my face.
No. No.
And I think I would want to be talking about music pretty early on. Um,
Get his take on things and
Yeah, and
suggestions
talk
and
about production and the studio, and yeah, and I think within a very short, probably 10 minutes, he'd be dragging me into his studio and saying, "Hey, have a listen to this." That's how I can imagine him being. I
Have you?
think he would want to talk about music as well.
Absolutely. And have you studied him? Have you watched videos? Have you listened to his voice intently? Have you looked at his mannerisms, his movements, and
I
picked
think,
up
yeah,
and said,
through the
wow,
years,
I do that too, or that
yeah,
does, I see the connection. I would imagine.
yeah. I mean, when I was researching to trying to get information and before I did get the DNA confirmation, I was looking and seeing that, to try and work out if there was similarities or if there is any, and there was, and I did see things, similarities, the mannerisms that I do. There's a similar humor there. Like I said before, his interests in studio side of things and production and all of that I share. And yeah, I mean, so remember he was a twin as well. So I think there's quite a bit of Robin going on there as well. I can relate to some mannerisms of Robin too, and
Somebody
perhaps
said you
vocally at times.
sound a little bit like Robin.
Yeah. And
Same.
now I've been told that, and I can't. I mean, I know my own voice, and I only hear my voice as my voice. I can't, I'm used to my own voice. So, yeah, quite a few people have said that they can hear Robin or a mixture of Robin and Morris. I don't know. Maybe I can only hear myself. So that's for other people to, if they hear that, But I definitely feel at times that I've probably got a bit of both of them, going on, because I can relate to Robin as I can relate to Morris in lots of ways too, mannerisms and humor and that as well,
Yeah, that's really amazing. It's just the way it's all just come, full circle and,
Yeah,
and so many different levels for you. I want to show you a couple of comments that have been that our lovely viewers, and we've been sprinkling them in throughout. Sherry Larson's in Kansas, USA, and she says, "Thank you for joining us today, Nick. What an interesting story. So glad you were able to connect with your family. Best wishes in all you do in the future," which is we
thank you,
really,
Cherry. Thank
that's
you. That's lovely. Thank
very,
you
very,
so
yeah,
much. Thank you for joining us.
absolutely. Gina Clark says, or Gino says, welcome, Gino. Good to see you. Enjoyed so much of the Bee Gees music, of course, with my wife and her family in the Philippines. They love the music as well. Great show, Jim. We thank you. You
Oh,
are
yeah,
very, very welcome. Glad that
great.
you've been with us here, and great show again. Thank you very much. Dana, watching in Canada, says, I'm going to check out your music after, but I just cannot bring myself to leave this interview. He's enjoying it so much, which is fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mary's in Florida, USA. A great hearing about your life story, Nick. Thanks, Jim and Nick. And feel better, Deborah. Absolutely. And
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
have them back on, and maybe they'll sing a song for us or something. Great
Yeah.
show. Thanks, Jim and Nick. Hope Deborah feels better. See, this is the Lovity Squad.
Thanks,
Everybody
Kathleen.
looks out
It
for
is.
everybody here.
It is. Yeah.
Um, Marty Thompson, who's originally from Australia, he's one of our faithful Lovity viewers, but he also was a guest. He was, well, they call him the Aussie crooner. He sang with the Count Basie Orchestra. He's been he
Ah,
lives in Nashville,
okay. Wow.
Tennessee, USA. He says, could you please, Nick, tell me your favorite pub and fish and chip shop in Brighton, Sussex region, as I once lived in Worthing by the sea.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry about that.
He's all choked up. He left a lot of
I'm
memories
really,
at the
I'm
pub,
really,
and got them all
hey,
choked
Marty,
up.
thanks, man.
He might not be able to tell you some of his favorites.
I need a moment. Hold on.
That might be a family secret. You
Well,
choked him up, Marty.
thanks for that, Marty.
Yeah.
Well, Worthing, I know Worthing. I've performed at the is it the Pavilion or there's a couple of places there, and it was quite a long time ago, but we supported Dodgy there. And yeah, I like Worthing. Now, fish and chip shop in Brighton, there's a couple. Do you know, there was one called Wolfie's, which were fantastic up to about a year or so ago, and they've really gone downhill. Someone's taken it over, and it's horrible now. So that's a real shame, because that was a go-to anytime, you know, you could rely on it. But there's another one now, and they've been going a long time, and they're along the Kingsway in Brighton, and they're called Chippy Chips. Original name, I know.
Chippy Chips.
Chippy Chips, but they do fantastic chips, really, really good chips. And the fish is not oily or anything as well, the batter or anything. So, yeah, good fish and chips there.
So
So
do
if you
you
have that,
soak in the bubbles with your matey bubbles and then go from the matey bubbles to Chippy Chips?
Chippy Chips in the bubbles. Get your Chippy Chips, your fish and chips from Chippy Chips. Come home, run a bubble, run a matey bubble bath, eat it in your bubble bath.
And listen to the
Try
pipes
it,
in case they make music.
Honestly, fish and chips in the bath with bubbles works. No, I don't actually know. Forget that.
Yeah.
Wait till you've had the bath and then
And that's it. Luna Collins, music. Welcome, Luna, to the
Hey,
Jim
Luna.
Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. We are, for those that are watching around the world who are brand new to us, we are here in America. We're here in the United States. We're in the New York area here, and we do this show daily. And we are on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. They should all subscribe to the Jim Masters TV YouTube channel, right, Nick?
Absolutely, they should. And why haven't they yet? I must say, Luna, she's lovely. I met Luna Collins at Hazel's birthday bash.
Lovely Luna. That's fantastic. So she's a performer as well?
Yep, she's a great songwriter and performer. She's just got some new material out now. And she's working very hard on more material.
Maybe we should have her come on the show. Tell her.
Yeah, you should. She's lovely, and we had a great time when I met her. Yeah, she's lovely.
Yeah. I like, Hazel said, when we were talking about what would you say to Maurice, you wouldn't need words, That's, yeah.
A bit like how I sort of said, I think we just smile and there wouldn't need to be words. Yeah.
That would be one heck of a hug. It would be one of those big hugs that.
Yeah, because it's a shame, because I only found my birth mother at the end of 2003. And he had passed early that year. So, yeah, unfortunately, I didn't find my birth mother until after he had passed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Are there aunts and uncles, different people? Well, the Gibb family, yeah. But how about the family that you were raised with? Are there still aunts and uncles and cousins extended there as well?
What, my adoptive family, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're all, a lot of them are passed now, because my adoptive family, my mum and dad were, a bit older. So they're my grandparents and cousins and uncles and stuff were all, all a bit older. So a lot of them are passed now. There's a couple here and there, but now my mum and dad have passed. We've all got our own lives now. That I see, my brothers, and I don't see my brother that much, but I talk to one of my sisters quite often. But the other one, she's between here and France with her work, so she's always really, really quite busy. But yeah, as for other members of the family, not really so much now, because a lot of them have gone now, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, you've had the opportunity to, learn a lot of things about your life. Not everybody gets that opportunity, to do that.
Yeah.
And
I think I've been lucky in a lot of respects in that way, because I can actually see pictures of Maurice. I can see him talking. I can hear him, his music. A lot of that I can find and look at. If it was someone who wasn't successful or hadn't achieved things that he had in his life, I may not be able to have, I may have one picture if I'd have got that information, and that would be it, and I wouldn't know what they sounded like, their mannerisms, or anything like that. Perhaps if I think I'm very lucky in that respect that I can see him, you know, and hear him talking on videos and stuff, you know,
Yeah. Right.
interviews and things.
Right.
I can, you know, that's I'm lucky with that in
The
that respect.
legacy is intact and it's there for
Yeah,
forever. And so
yeah.
Barry, and you haven't met Barry yet, but there is hope that you do.
Well, it'd be nice, you know. Obviously, he's
It'd
the
be
last brother.
Uncle Barry. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it would be nice to connect. But like I say, I think it's early days with everything. You know, we're all human, really. At
It's
the end of the
all,
day.
this is still all
Um,
fresh news, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And if we connect, we do, and I think that'd be a good thing. But we'll see. You know, I think we'll see
Exactly.
how things go. In the meantime, I'm happy to. I've got my closure. I've got the answers I've always wanted to know, and that has completed so much for me as a person. You know, it's um, to have that closure, that to know your identity after so long of not knowing, um, is really is great, and that's, you know, that's enough for me. So I'm happy with the knowledge I now have, and I'm really happy, of course, that I've been able to connect with some members of the family, um, and it would be lovely to connect with others, especially, like I say, other members of the family which are musicians, because there's so much, you know, we could share as musicians. You know, just it would be a lovely thing. But
It
we'll
could be
see.
the cousins and second cousins and third cousins Gibb.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know,
Become like
well,
the Osmonds.
yeah,
Everybody's involved.
yeah, or the Partridge Family.
The Partridge Family. Yes.
I can't remember any of their hits, but they were a big thing, weren't they? Once.
I think I love you.
Oh, was that them?
That was the Partridge
Oh,
Family.
okay. All right then. Yeah. Well, you remember more
We
than
heard
me.
a lot of it in America. Yes.
Yeah.
David Cassidy and
Yeah, of
Shirley
course.
Jones and
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and the TV series. Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lovely thing actually reminded me of. I always loved, you know, watching the Monkees on Saturday morning, but their show,
Oh,
um,
yes.
and of course my love of the, you know, the '60s music and stuff. Yeah, I used to love their show, and the guy that I thought was my father, he was the Artful Dodger in the West End musical of Oliver,
Wow.
um, and at that time, Davy Jones was
David Jones.
he was the Artful Dodger in the Broadway version. So I mean, they were only like 15, 16 at that time, but because of that, they obviously met, and early on through Davy, he got a call over to go to America and say, look, they're shooting this pilot for the Monkees. Do you want to be involved? Because they wanted two English guys and two American guys. And so he went over there to do the auditions. He got through the auditions. It was all going to happen. But because the explosion was about to happen, that the British invasion, you know, and everything going mad, which it did, he was advised to go back to England, or he may not be able to get back. And he hadn't seen his family for 6 weeks or something. So he decided to come back to England. And then, of course, he couldn't get back to America to be part of the show. So they decided to go with one English guy instead. And he would have become a monkey. But yeah, a bit of a shame. But the lovely thing was I met him once for coffee, and this guy and his wife turned up and sat down, and he said, "Oh, this is Davy," and I couldn't believe it was Davy Jones. And I shook his hand, and we had a good chat. And the only reason I met him was because he couldn't go home because there was some kind of dust cloud in the sky that the airplanes weren't flying, so he couldn't get a flight back at the time. So he had to stay on longer than he was over for some reason, doing something in London, and came down to visit. And yeah, but just by pure chance, I happened to meet him then, and we had a lovely chat. He was so lovely, such a lovely guy, and it was really nice to talk to someone that, you know, I'd seen on TV when I was younger, and part of the Monkeys. It was so lovely. But then, unfortunately, I think he died. Probably it was a year after that. I think it wasn't that long after
Yes.
afterwards that unfortunately he passed away.
Yes. And Mike Nesbitt just died last year.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So the only one left now is Mickey Dolenz.
And I'm hoping he's going to bring his show to the UK, because I know he's doing it across the States, isn't he?
It's an
And
incredible show.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, it'd be
Really, really.
lovely to if he brought that over here as well.
Absolutely. Well, I
Um,
know you got to eat. I'm just thinking at that. And Dana is already putting in order. This interview must not end. See, if it was an interview, it would have ended. But the fact that it's a
yeah,
conversation, we just let it roll. But you do have to eat.
I
And
do. I'm sorry. I do have to have some.
you gotta, yeah, me too. I haven't had lunch. I
I-
haven't had dinner. We're
have you
blowing
not?
some dinner, but this is awesome. This is really fantastic. It's kind of like what we do here on the show. We just
Yeah.
let it roll, and guests can be with us as short or as long as they want.
It's
There's
really
no,
lovely to have people commenting and to have some, some
yeah,
things.
it's all it's my style with my television and radio work professionally, and I just like good conversations. We don't
Yeah, yeah,
script any questions. There's no teleprompter, and we go in all these different directions, so they learn more about you, me, themselves all together,
yeah.
which I think is a beautiful and rare
Great. It's
thing
lovely. Yeah,
these days. So
yeah.
this was fantastic. It was awesome, my friend. Give my best to Deborah,
I
and
will.
we'll have
She's
you guys
so,
back on. And
yeah.
you
Really
know,
wish she could be here, but yeah, next time. Next time.
well, when you tell her, let her know that we had the caviar and the champagne and the shrimp cocktail and
I will.
all of that,
Will.
and she'll have it when she comes back. And
Yes.
but
Yeah.
give her the best from all of us. And somebody that pops in towards the latter part, Mr.
Ah,
George Burns is with us.
hey, George.
he
That's
always
great.
he always pops in and just oversees things, and he's got a cigar. And
Has
yeah.
he got a little? Is there a little hole for your hand in the back? Can you?
Oh,
Is
like a
on your
ventriloquist doll?
lap?
He's actually on a pedestal. See, he's on a
Ah,
big pedestal. He's got his dress shoes, the whole bit. It's a collector's item, and there's
right.
supposed to be plastic over it. He's supposed to be in a box. One of my aunts collected dolls, and when he turned 100, she grabbed this collector's doll, and then it got passed down to me. So 2 years
Right.
ago, I was talking about, TV shows and all kinds of different things and comedy. And I brought him on, and now the audience, the viewers, the Jim Master Show lovedies love him.
Hmm.
And so he comes on towards the
He's
latter
great.
part, and he
He's
said, "You
fantastic.
knocked it out of the park." He loved every second. He missed seeing Deborah, but he will be waiting in his tux with a cigar for Deborah as
Oh,
well.
fantastic.
And
I'll let Debbie know.
that she had an opportunity to meet George Burns, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This was awesome and really, really fantastic. Joan Sandos says, "Thanks, Jim and Nick. Wonderful afternoon
Thank you, Joe.
or evening for some."
Yeah, yeah.
Terry Ann, thank you very much. She did the super sticker. That's really kind and generous of you, Terry Ann.
Wow,
Thank you very much. She says,
fantastic.
absolutely great conversation with Jim and Nick. I appreciate that. Dana
Thank
says, thank you for such a soul exposing experience. Great job, Jim, on getting us to this man's incredible roots.
Thanks,
You
Dana.
are very, very welcome. Very, very welcome. And this is really, really nice. I appreciate all these great comments coming in here. Gary watching. Great show indeed. Thanks, Jim and Nick.
Thanks, Gary.
All these comments coming in here. I really, really love it. Kathy Short is in Cleveland, Ohio, USA. So happy to be here to tune in live today. It's been a pleasure to hear this fascinating story. I'll be checking out the music after the interview. I already checked out the Facebook page. Thanks, Jim and
Oh, thanks,
Nick.
Kathy.
That's
Thank you
really,
so much.
yeah, it's really, really beautiful. Thanks, gang, for all of the. Marty says, Barry Gibb would love to meet you, I am sure. Absolutely. Thanks again for all these great comments. We really love it. Antonio is in Ireland. He's a wonderful pastry chef. He's in Dublin. What a pleasant surprise. These direct, very interesting and pleasant surprises have been. Congratulations again on the show. Thank you very much watching from Dublin, Ireland, and we appreciate that. And
I love Southern Ireland. I haven't been to Dublin before, but I've been down to County Kerry and Dingle Bay around there when I was younger, and it's just a place to go, especially in the summer. The lakes are so crystal clear.
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful place.
Absolutely. Marty Thompson says, great art of conversation. That's what we do here. Thank you, Marty in Nashville.
Thanks,
Luna Collins Music. Luna says, yes, thanks for this, Jim and Nick. And I would love to talk with you at some point, Jim. Absolutely. You're welcome to.
Yeah. Very interesting lady, Luna. Yeah. You'll love her. Yeah.
Yes. And Marty Thompson says, thanks for sharing. And if you ever get to Nashville, Tennessee, I'll take you honky tonking.
Honky tonking.
Yes.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds great.
The RC crooner will be take you honky tonking in America. That's kind of cool. That should be interesting.
I want to go honky tonking now. It sounds great. Book me in for the first honky tonk tour.
That's it, right?
And Nashville, I'd love to come to. Nashville is.
Have you been to America?
Never been to America ever.
Yeah.
And I'd love to go to Nashville. It's been on my my bucket list for many years, amongst other places, But definitely like to go to Nashville.
Dana's raising a Guinness to us. Thank you very much. So is Antonio. Dana in Canada and Antonio in Ireland.
I'll raise one back if I had one in my hand.
You raised one back. I raised the George Burns, so I'm good.
Yeah. If you squint your eyes, it could be a Guinness.
That's it. This was amazing, my friend. Really a pleasure to chat with you, and thanks for joining us here on the Jim Master Show.
It's been great. It's been great, and thanks so much for having me on. It's
best of luck with
you have. Fantastic.
I appreciate that. I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, Nick.
Absolutely. Am I a lovety now?
You're a lovety. Oh, you were a lovety within 5 minutes of.
Am I allowed to be a lovety? That's great.
You are allowed to be a lovety, absolutely, and they already designated that. I usually say here in the States, I say, there are Oscars. We won't go there. There are Oscars. Not now. We won't. There are Oscars. There are Emmys. There are Tellys. There are Peabodys. There are Grammys. There's all these fabulous awards. But when you get a lovety on the Jim Master Show live, most of the guests say when they get that, their feet start tingling. Are your feet tingling right?
I was going to ask you if this is something that happens quite often, because they are. And I thought maybe I'm sitting a bit strangely or something like that. But now you've answered why they are and why it's happening. So thanks for that. That's great. Will it last for a long time?
Well, it'll go away when you go into the matey bubble bath.
Okay.
Dana says in Canada says, let's start a GoFundMe so we can get Nick to North America. These are real loveties.
That's lovely, Dana. Thank you.
That's it.
It'll be lovely. Yeah.
This was awesome, my friend. You go eat and spread the word to everybody about the Jim Master Show live. I would love that. We do something quite different here, and we thank Steve for putting things together. Our best to Deborah, and blessings and joy to you. Let's definitely stay in touch, and you guys are welcome back anytime. And keep me posted on everything that's going on in your world.
Absolutely. I mean, we're aiming on our next single, hopefully being within the next couple of months. So maybe that could be a time for Debbie to come on, and we can have a little chat about that.
That would be great. That would be awesome.
We got lots of things in the pipeline. So lots of exciting things happening.
Cool stuff. Well, you have the ways to contact me, so definitely do that, and we'll stay in touch, my friend. And thanks for all of the time and all the wit and wisdom. We chatted for about 2.5 hours.
Has it been that long?
It doesn't feel like it, right? Everybody says it doesn't feel like that.
I thought it was 4 hours, but anyway,
Well, for you, because you're ahead. See, for us, we're not at that point yet. Nick, you're the best. Thanks for all the time, and thanks for gracing us with your presence here on the Jim Master Show live. So happy for you that all these beautiful things are happening in your life.
Thanks, Jim. And yeah, what a great show you got. It's great. It's been great to be on. And yeah, we'll be in touch. We'll talk to you soon,
Absolutely.
hopefully.
Where they say, have your people call my people.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
You you be well, my friend, and thanks for the
And you,
time
Jim.
and the pleasure having you here. And again, really,
Thanks so
best of
much.
luck with everything, okay?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're
And
welcome.
keep up the good work. Brilliant
I
show.
spread the word. I appreciate it. Takes a village, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Cheers, my friend.
Thanks, Jim. Take
All right.
care.
Take care
See you
now.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Nick Endacott-Gibb, live and direct from Brighton, Sussex, England, the UK. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you'd like to see this episode again, it is housed right here on our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. If you would like to be a part of our lovely family, very easy to do. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV. The show is the Jim Masters Show Live, and the channel is Jim Masters TV. Click the red subscribe button. We would love that. That helps us grow big time. And also click the notification bell so you never miss any of the episodes that we do live. Matter of fact, we have another episode that we're doing. It's a celebrating our childhood episode. It's really cool. Our viewers sent in photos of them when they were kids, and we're going to eat very quickly dinner, and then we're going to be back here at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, with all of our lovely viewers, and we're going to be showing their childhood photos on our show live in about it's 4:35, so about 2.5 hours. Wow, that's quick. Hey gang, if you love this episode or any of them, consider maybe doing a heart thanks on the YouTube channel. There's a little heart that says thanks. You click on that. That helps support our series and everything we do here at the Jim Master Show Live. And also give this episode and all episodes you like a thumbs up. There's a little like icon underneath all the episodes, and leave a comment on the YouTube channel as well. We would absolutely love that. Dana says, truly a terrific interview and feeling blessed to be here in the moment. Truly awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate those kind words, Dana. And if you want to comment on our YouTube channel, feel free to put that on the YouTube channel too. We love when the viewers comment on our channel, because that helps. When you do that, YouTube sees that, and then they take the episode and they blast it out to even more people around the world. We're global already, but then even more people say it. Jen Barry watching in Pennsylvania, USA, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Fun show today. Thank you, Jen. Sherry Larson in Kansas, USA says, this was wonderful. Thank you, Jim, for another fantastic conversation. We'll see you all in about 2.5 hours. Yes, I will see you soon for our other special episode. And Dana says, perhaps the most heartfelt show I have witnessed live, pulled at the heartstrings. Very beautiful words, Dana. I appreciate that. Yeah, we really went in a lot of different directions. We talked about music. We talked about careers. We talked about life. We talked about Nick's experiences, searching for, his birth parents, the biological parents, and talked about the music, the formation of Cousins Gibb, one on one end of the earth, one on the other. UK, Australia, cousins coming together. See, there's always hope, right? And navigating everything with the family, and it's really a beautiful story on many different levels. We're talking about great music, but it's an inspiring story and a lot of humor there as well. I know what you guys are going to do. You're going to eat food, probably dinner, and then you're going to dive in your bubble bath, or you're going to pour some bubbly. Some great photos we had show, of course, of, the Bee Gees themselves, Maurice and Barry, and Robin as well. This is cool as well. A little bit about Nick, and a little bit about Deborah as well. And some other shots, we showed as well of, the family through the years. This was cool when the DNA was actually confirmed. There's Nick a few years back. And of course, we're talking about the logo. There's Tragedy. There's the cover for Tragedy. And again, you can find there's the gang, the crew that helped put that all together. Coming Home again, which came out around the holiday time. Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, all those places. You can find it all and look for more coming. There is the actual studio. You see it now, a little bit of wide shot that Nick was in today. And this goes back a little bit. This was Deborah doing her thing. When she did the tribute shows, she actually did a whole Karen Carpenter tribute and many others. She's a brilliant talent as well. And you got a chance to learn about them too, which was really, really cool, huh? Really, really special. And yeah, with that Gibb heritage and tradition too, which is really, really something. You guys are amazing. These comments are still coming in here at the Jim Masters Show. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at a couple more, then we will wrap up because we got to eat as well. Kathy in Cleveland, Ohio says, great show, Jim. Catch you for show 2. Thank you very much, Kathy. And Jen says, see you tonight as well. And thanks for all these great comments. You guys just really are fantastic. This was wonderful. Thank you, Jim, for another fantastic conversation. We'll see you all tonight. Can't wait. Dana says, Jim, you provide the best entertainment a lucky person could find, a remarkable interviewer. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do this work professionally in broadcast, television, radio, stage, and film. You know, I wear a lot of different hats, and one of them is hosting and as well interviewing. So I love doing it. And when I do it, it's just me. You know what I mean? I don't put on any airs. You know, maybe I raise it up just a tad because we are on air, but really not. It's just me doing me, which is what there's a little theme to this because Nick and we were talking about Deborah as well. They're doing what they want to do as well, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So gang, when you see this, you know, you're going to have a good time, the Jim Masters Show. So spread the word, tell everybody you know about our series. We thank Nick for joining us. And the spirit of Deborah was here. We will have them back. They're always welcome here on the show. Look for Cousins Gibb. That's what you want to look for when you're searching for all the fabulous music. Hey, I want to let you know, too, if you didn't see the episode when Lawrence Juber was on our show, for those of you who love music, Lawrence, you got to check this episode out. This was amazing. Lawrence was the lead guitarist in Paul McCartney's Wings. You know Wings. There they are right there on your screen. Paul McCartney, Linda McCartney, and the whole gang. Lawrence Juber, was in Wings with Paul McCartney. He's also a Grammy-winning guitarist, composer, arranger as well. If you didn't see that episode of the Jim Masters Show live, it's archived on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Check that episode out. It is absolutely amazing. He played live for us as well. Really, really terrific. Gang, if you didn't see the episode where we had celebrity illustrator and graphic designer Henry Lamar live and direct from Los Angeles and Hollywood, California, check that episode out. He shared with us some incredible illustrations. You can see some of them on the screen there. Lucy and Carol, Judy Garland, the Golden Girls. He is extraordinary. He's a wonderful friend, too. Check that episode out on our YouTube channel, one of the 600 episodes you can enjoy. He really was amazing. He shared so much of his work with us. You know, recently, I think this past week, Doris Day, wonderful singer and actress, the late Doris Day, turned 100, celebrating 100. And of course, she's no longer with us. Actor, singer, voice artist, author, the Doris Day Project. He even Sonic the Hedgehog. He's worked with Sonic the Hedgehog, but he's very, 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 very prominent Doris Day aficionado. Scott Dreyer was with us here on the show. He's a phenomenal actor and singer in his own right. If you didn't see that episode, check that out on our YouTube channel as well. For those of you who love the classic television series, if you never saw the episode with Judy Norton, who played Mary Ellen on The Waltons, the legendary CBS 1970s family drama, The Waltons, well, actress, singer, and Judy Norton herself was a guest on the Jim Masters Show live. Check that out on our YouTube channel. Marion Ross from Happy Days was with us as well, that legendary TV series. You can see that. And last night, her son, Jim Meskimen, we had a blast last night, celebrity impersonator, impressionist, comedian, and so much more. He was with us. So check that episode out. That was last night. Marion, you can check that episode out as well. Stanley Livingston, who was Chip Douglas on the classic TV series My Three Sons, was a guest on our show as well. You know, for those of you who haven't had a chance to scroll back and binge watch some of our previous episodes, all of these and many more are right there on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. So he's a legend, of course. He was live and direct from Hollywood. He was Chip Douglas on the legendary My Three Sons TV series with his brother Ernie. And his brother Ernie, or I should say Barry Livingston, who played Ernie Douglas, he was a guest separately on our series as well. And you can see that episode on our YouTube channel. So cool stuff. And coming up at 7, so we got to move quickly here. Celebrating our childhoods, a special JMS Lovity episode with our viewers, very interactive. And for those of you who've sent in photos of you when you were a kid, we're going to show them in that episode coming up tonight. So it's going to be really, really cool. So again, we thank Nick for joining us here from Cousins Gibb. And we thank all of you for joining us here on the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. We're going to scoot out quick because we got to do a quick Clark Kent to Superman change here and get ready for the next episode as well. You guys are great. Lovely Northern Light photo that he shared. Yes. Antonio, thank you very much. Wonderful Italian pastry chef in Ireland. We'll try to be there again, the next live, even if it'll be midnight with you. We're here every day live, which is really cool, Antonio, coming to you from the United States here in the New York area, which is nice. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, along the southern New England coast between New York and Boston. All right, we're going to scoot out. We love you all. Thanks for being with us. We don't say goodbye. We say see you later. We say slancha. We say ciao. We say let's see, sayonara, moi lut, avida zain, shalom, and all the rest. Be well, love one another, take care of one another. And thanks for joining us on this episode of the Jim Masters Show live from all around the world. Take care of one another. It's very important to do that. Keep smiling. And we'll be back live with the next one coming up in about 2 hours. For those of you that aren't watching this live, maybe you're watching this later on 3 months from now, stay right here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Another great episode comes right up for you and yours. Take care. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate the time. And this was really an epic episode with Nick Endacott-Gibb here on the Jim Masters Show live. We'll see you again soon, okay? Take care, be well, and cheers.